National Institute for Science and Mathematics Education Development, or UP-NISMED, is a research and extension unit of the University of the Philippines. Guided by its mandate to improve science and mathematics education, NISMED performs three major functions: research, curriculum development, professional development, and extension services. Through the years, NISMED has been generating new knowledge regarding science and mathematics teaching in the country. Research outputs, such as teaching materials, are tried and tested to teachers and students inside the classroom. Relevant and innovative teaching materials are made available online and at NISMED publications for distribution. In addition, NISMED is highly involved in the framing of the National Science and Mathematics Basic Education curricula. Equipped with subject area specialists, NISMED offers professional development programs which cater to the needs of teachers and educators in the country and Asia-Pacific region. These training programs deepen teachers' understanding of the subject areas they teach. NISMED promotes science teaching through inquiry and teaching mathematics through problem solving. Not only it conducts training programs, but also mentors science and mathematics teachers in the elementary and secondary levels.
Experiences and insights. So let's have first from workshop 5. She attended the Learning 3D Printing for TVET, and that will be Miss June. Mr. June Oliver, sir.
So, hi, good morning po sa akin lahat. Nakapag-breakfast na po ang lahat, so we have a fruitful day.
Workshop 5, Learning 3D in Printing in Tibet. So, yesterday, as a recap, we discussed all about, sir, next slide please. We talked all about 3D printing, what is 3D printing, paano na-apply ang 3D printing sa everyday tasks or sa mga activities. We also differentiate what the meaning of additive manufacturing to subtractive manufacturing, and also yung process or workflow ng 3D printing. So we discuss it one by one, kung paano ba gumagawa ng model, how do we create a model on a software, and how do we prepare, and soon we will print later this day. And also introduce din nila sa amin yung different software or 3D software using CAD software. So kahapon, we utilize Tinkercad, which is a free software. And maganda yung GUI niya, napaka user-friendly. And last thing is, we also created 3D models, again using the Tinkercad software. So here are the examples of, some of the examples po nung aming ginawang model. So ayan po. So from the activity itself, we utilize the Tinkercad, and here is some of our outputs po. Ayan. Ayan po. So unang isip namin parang napakahirap mag-model. Pero the way they teach the lesson, ginawa nilang super dali na kahit yung beginner lang kami, nakaproduce agad kami ng output. And one of the aha moment, sabi nga nila kahapon, is marami palang software na available and free. It's totally free na pwede nating magamit. And there is also a website or a software again na pwede tayong makapag-download ng mga resources in order for us to 3D print. So, kung hindi tayo marunong model using the software, we can easily download a certain file to suffice these natin, pwede natin gamitin. So, here are some pictures po ng mga kaklase namin kahapon po. Ayan po. And to wrap this up po, looking forward po this day, hopefully po mamaya after lunch, na kami, start na makapag 3D print. And hoping din po na may apply namin ito sa aming institution because it is a really great learning and new technology kung baga, especially sa delivery ng TVET po. So that's all po. Thank you.
Mr. June, now we have from workshop 6, using generative AI for TVET and TVL, we have Ma'am Julie Fevi Calapini from Department of Education. Ma'am.
Good morning po everyone. So on behalf of our group, which AI offers a wide range of benefits across various fields. So they presented us the different application actually that is ready available sa ating mga operating system, but we are not aware. So we are very grateful po because na-introduce po sa amin and yung tamang utilization ng mga bawat app. So it was followed by presenting some examples using the critical points po na pwedeng input natin sa prompt. And also, we also discuss yung mga different AI app, like yung, ayun po, yung, dito. Ayan, yung the WePick, yan. And then the Bing, yung mga different editor application. And also, we discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of this different AI app and what is the proper utilization and paano po namin mai-imply sa aming students. And also, after our activity, we uploaded po lahat po ng aming output in the provided Google Classroom. So talagang fruitful ng aming workshop kahapon, and we are very grateful kasi po wala pong oras na nasayang and lahat po talaga nakapag present ng output and nakapag-produce and na-experience lahat po ng mga na-introduce po nila sa amin. And thank you very much din po sa aming mga facilitators because they assist us sa lahat po ng activities na talagang on the very first time na makikita pa lang namin and ma-experience namin. And also, they discuss some issues addressed with these different apps. And indeed, yung aming mga speakers po, sila sir po, and successfully participate and enjoyed the program and the workshop na which is talagang sinapul namin yung issues and concerns na po pwede namin ma-encounter kapag na-introduce namin to sa bata, and also yung mga issues na ginagamit na pala nila and paano namin iyon ma-explain sa kanila na yung limitations. And with that, thank you very much po.
Thank you, Ma'am Julie Fe. Now, finally, from Workshop 4, Inventing an App for TVET, we have Miss Janet M. Pineda from TESDA, NITES, TESD, and TTA.
Hello po, good morning. From workshop number 4, Inventing an App for TVET. Okay, we are passionate about creating our own mobile applications but find traditional programming languages a bit overwhelming. Newbie in the field of coding, but we were able to create an app with a voice that says, "Stop shaking me," when we try to shake our phone. And with just 45 minutes left in the session, we can proudly say that we were able to develop a simple calculator with 4 mathematical operations from a game-changing platform designed to empower individuals with the ability to bring their ideas to life regardless of their coding expertise. The workshop started with Miss LA. Okay, so diniscuss po niya yung thoughts kung bakit po ba tayo talaga nagtuturo, kung ano yung mga dapat natin isaalang-alang para maturuan natin ang ating mga estudyante. Ano po yung dapat nating malaman? Paano natin kikilalanin ang ating mga estudyante? She had let us dive deep into the very reason why we are teaching. To further make us realize this empathy, Ma'am Onyang asked us to answer the empathy map with 4 quadrants. Unang quadrant po ay ang think and feel quadrant, see quadrant, hear quadrant, and say quadrant. So that comprises po the empathy map. So from there po, we answered the 4 quadrants wherein titingnan natin, we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of our students para makapag-create po tayo ng application na talagang kailangan ng ating mga estudyante. So an innovative visual and programming environment developed by MIT is a tool that democratizes app development. We can design and build Android applications in a matter of minutes, not months. That is how Mr. John introduced MIT 2 app for us, or to us. Okay, so he presented the different components, how each tool from this can be utilized by changing the properties, how each block of codes can be used to get and set the values. Before the workshop ended, as our assignment, kailangan po namin makapag-create ng title para sa application na gagawin po namin later this afternoon. With that, as early as now, I thank our workshop speakers and our facilitators for understanding our shortcomings in terms of coding, for their unceasing support and guidance. As one of the takeaways yesterday from one of our speakers, most of the time it is the process that matters. Thank you and have a blessed morning.
Thank you, Ms. Janet, and also to the other 2 participants who've shared their experiences and insights. We're happy to know that you've learned a lot, no, and you expressed your intention to cascade this in your institution. Now, let's proceed with our second panel discussion on integrating STEM in TVET, stories from the field. You may scan the QR code flash on the screen or the QR code printed on your program to write your questions addressed to our panel discussants through a Google form. Our online participants are also encouraged to ask questions or give their comments by typing them in the YouTube and Facebook comments section. Let me now introduce our esteemed panel discussants. Our first panel discussant, Ms. Helen S. Aki, an assistant professor in Pangasinan Technological Institute, which is a TESDA-administered school. Ms. Helen Aki's career as an educator began at the Binmalay Catholic School Incorporated, where she served as a classroom teacher. She then went on to become an Instructor 1 at the Pangasinan Technological Institute and rose through the ranks as the current Assistant Vocational School Administrator and Assistant Professor at the same school, where she handled many courses such as aquaculture and food processing. Our second panel discussant is Ms. Jessa Marie Gallego, who is a trainer at the Pasig Trade School. Ms. Jessa Marie Gallego is a graduate of the Bachelor of Hotel and Restaurant Management program at West Visayas State University. She has been a trainer in the tourism sector since 2019. Currently, she teaches bread and pastry production at Pasig Trade School, City of Pasig, Iloilo. Our third panel discussant is Mr. Mark Simon Cabardo. He is a BS Agribusiness graduate and currently a trainer in organic agriculture production, NC2, animal production, poultry chicken, NC2, and horticulture, NC3 at Balangiga National Agricultural School in the province of Eastern Samar. Our fourth panel discussant is Engineer Jeremy Divinagracia, a trainer at the Agusan del Sur School of Arts and Trades. Early on in his career, engineer Jeremy learned valuable trade skills as an electrical engineer trainee of the DISC NSC Electromechanical Installation Project. He then moved on to the Agusan del Sur School of Arts and Trades, where he participated in various research projects and coached trainees who have bagged awards in several skills competitions. At present, he is an Assistant Professor 1, and he heads the Instruction and Training Unit as well as the Facilities and Equipment Maintenance Unit at the same school. Our last panel discussant is Mr. Alfie Mahumot, who serves in TESDA Provincial Training Center, Bilar in Bohol. As a Training Instruction Supervisor, Administrative Officer Designate, Quality Management Systems System Focal Person, Technology Research Focal, Enterprise-Based Training Local, and Green TVET Focal. He also teaches on a part-time basis at Bohol Island State University main campus, handling courses on operations management and service quality management, among others. And also, may I now also call on, our 5 panel discussants to take your seats here on stage. And also, may I call on the moderator of this session, Mr. Melvin Magsayo, sir, the Executive Director of System.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And good morning po. Magandang umaga. Maayong buntag. Ayan. Morning. Medyo marami po kami ngayon this morning. Pero if you count, may balance po ba yung ratio? Sinong gustong mag-join? May gusto mong mag-add? Well, anyway, again po, I am Melvin Magsayo. I am the Executive Director of the Center for Integrated STEM Education. And we would also like to greet and shout out all our participants joining the official Facebook page of UPNISMED. And of course, watching us live via the official YouTube channel, which is on NISMED TV. Ayan po. So, this morning, we have a very fantastic, I say fantastic, lineup of panel discussants who will be sharing with us this morning their unique stories, their experiences, their insights about integrating STEM in TVET. But before that, just to give you a short context, so this topic is very close to my heart as a member of the Center for Integrated STEM Education because we partnered way back in 2020. We partnered with the International Labor Organization to deliver a training on curriculum guide write-up, and that was followed in 2021 when we launched the first batch, the first cohort of Train the Trainers activity. So actually po, this is my first time as well to see them in person because we've done several trainings via Zoom. Follow-throughs were also conducted via Zoom. So first time ko din sila nakita kahapon, and it feels so great that finally you've seen these people on screen, but now pwede na sila hawakan in flesh. So I can also see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd right now who also joined in some of our workshops, and I'm so happy. One of them is now the provincial director of Rizal. So palakpakan po natin yung ating mga TVET trainers. Ayan si ma'am. But today's highlight is all about their stories. So kaya po magiging masaya po yung kwentuhan natin this morning. Promise I will not ask the hard questions. Hindi po natin paiinitin ng mga mas mahihirap na tanong this morning, pero painitin po natin yung kwentuhan and celebrate the different stories of success happening in the field. So very, very briefly po, let's start with Sir Alfie. What's your story in the field, sir?
Okay, first, mayong buntag sa tanan, Sir Melvin and the rest of the participants here in this hall. I am presently connected in Provincial Training Center, Bilar. So if you notice, among the discussants here, I am only representing the Provincial Training Center. The rest are TAS or TESDA-administered school. Mga malalaking institution po sila. No? In my case po, I integrated first the STEM competencies in Kukiri in situ. So in our institution. So I would like to share first, or start it first from the appreciation of STEM in TVET. Kukiri Institute is under the sector of tourism. And kapag kasi sabihin nating STEM, those participants or trainees who are taking tourism qualification po ay talagang sasabihin na meron palang STEM dito. Sir, akala ko we will be cooking here. So kumbaga yung appreciation for STEM for those who are taking tourism qualification is parang hindi po ganon yung nila appreciation. And I came to realize that if that is the appreciation level of the trainees, there is also a need that the trainer himself will have to appreciate the STEM competencies first. So kaya the trainer himself will have to undergo training. In 2021, sir, you mentioned about that training of trainers. So we were one of those who were participants of that. And after, we were chosen to do the pilot implementation. Yung sa Kukiri Institute po kasi, parang there is a challenge for the trainer to integrate STEM, as I have mentioned a while ago, doon sa appreciation level ng mga trainees po natin. So kaya it has been a challenge for me to integrate the STEM. Ang ginawa ko na lang, inisip ko kung ano talaga yung magiging advantage in integrating STEM in the curriculum of Kukiri Institute. I can mention a few of those advantages and positive outcome in integrating STEM in Kukiri Institute. First, hindi po requirement for the assessment, National Competency Assessment ng Kukiri Institute, yung sa costing. So wala po siya. Kumbaga minsan kasi, yung may mga trainer na they're only conducting training for the purpose of complying the assessment. But it's different from us. Now, if you have really seen the importance of integrating such competencies, it will become an advantage of your graduate, especially in the arena of competition, because I do believe that when they apply for work, there will be competition. And they will be asked by the selection or recruitment officers, what is your edge among other applicants? Because definitely, if you are all graduates of Kukiri Institute and the like programs, then you have all acquired the basic, common, and the core competencies. But there is this edge or advantage that must be part of you, that you are already equipped, and those are the STEM competencies, the science, the technology, the engineering, and mathematics. Another highlight, sir, is aside from costing, is that, in Kukiri Institute, maybe approximately we can cook for the 40 days duration, more than 40 dishes. So all dishes, they are really doing the costing. And afterwards, I'm also thinking, sir, that graduating from TVET program does not only mean that you will be employed in wage employment. You can also do your wage self-employment as well. So if you know already how to do the costing of your dishes, then you can also make it as a business. Makapagtinda ka na. So yun po ay dala-dala na nila. Second, sir, is yung food safety. In Kukiri Institute, it's not only about cooking. So you need to also cook food deliciously, nutritious, and thirdly is safe po siya. We have also measures in food safety. We are also talking about the temperature control. So part of the TR's resource po is yung food thermometer. Minsan nandun lang siya tapos hindi siya nagagamit. Sa akin po talagang ginamit ko siya because I am a certified food safety manager. Kaya ginamit ko siya to measure the cooking internal temperature also. And yun po yung mga processes po and highlight of my integration in Kukiri Institute po that I believe will become an advantage po doon sa magiging competencies po ng aking mga graduates, especially if they will be going for work or maybe if they would like to establish their own business po, sir.
Thank you, Sir Alfie. So we're saying that STEM is about, developing creativity, developing the innovative skills of our students. Can you name one dish, sir, na niluto ninyo mga estudyante, which you think is parang an innovative dish? Ano yun? Kasi you're from Bohol, right? And
Yes, sir.
Bohol is famous of their, yung nasa, sir?
Kalamay.
Kalamay. So was there a sort of a dish that your students created when they somehow acknowledge that they're applying STEM skills in there and innovative skills, no?
Yes, sir. Pertaining to calamais, that is actually, that we can integrate it in the dessert portion, no? But I would like to share here, sir, because it is also part of our 21st century skills, yung sa innovation po. I have also published in the Testa Trade Journal yung sa ketchup po, Santol ketchup. So I integrated that one in the making of dip or dressing, salad dressing po. So with that innovation, pinapagawa ko po yung mga trainees ko ng Santol ketchup, because I have already the sample or model of the technology guide. Then yun po yung ini-integrate ko siya as innovation. Then that is something new for them po sa kuan.
And mamaya po, Sir Alfie will be giving a sample of that dip.
Santol ketchup.
And anyway, so let's move to Ma'am Helen. Ma'am Helen, from a classroom teacher to an instructor in Pangasinan Technological Institute, kumusta yung experience sa pagtuturo nyo in the field? I heard, nasa palayan, nasa fish pond po talaga kayo nagtuturo. Yes po.
Yes, good morning. Actually, my field of specialization is so much in STEM because it's aquaculture, it's fishery. So there is science, there's technology, there's also math and engineering. Kasi yung sa mga fish pond, hindi lang actually yung traditional na sasabihin nila sa fish pond, naku, magpapatambak si madam. No. So, meron ng layouting, may engineering factor doon, and then meron siyang math kasi you need to compute the area kung saan mo, kung ilan yung area ng grow out pan. And this time, it's not actually conventional or traditional fish pond layout. Minomodify na po natin. So, yung STEM, sir, the learning components that you have introduced, actually, initially, ako pa po yung unang natuto. Kasi nabigyan po ako ng additional learning strategies on how will I convert the job sheets into these STEM learning components like yung procedural. So usually, nasa steps lang tayo. Diba? But in this STEM, meron yung procedure process. Di po ba? So, or procedure flow chart. So, step, and then may reminder pala. So that they will not only memorize, kundi there is an understanding na kailangan pala, ito yung unang step. Kasi may reminder point ka doon. Another is yung blue ocean strategy. Yun yung mga natandaan ko na like in the feeds, yung formulation of feeds, I have adopted that. Yung ano yung i-reduce mo dun sa ipapakain mo, ano yung eliminate, ano yung i-erase, at ano yung i-create. So now they were able to formulate organic feeds. So meron na silang organic feeds, and they also analyze kung ano yung impact or effect noong feeds na yon in the growth of the fish. And then yung procedural problem-solving process, yung cause and effect. So with that, you can increase the learning participation. Kasi, ito, namatay yung isda. So initially, nung una, matutuwa sila, ma'am, namatay yung breeder natin. Iluluto na natin, sabi nila. So, when there was an STEM, ngayon, sige, namatay, natutuwa kayo. Bigyan ko kayo ng problem. Balik kayo doon sa tangke kung saan namatay yan. Analyze the cause and the effect of the mortality. So, kamot sila, no? So, yan. So, pupuntahan nila. So, yun, merong learning participation, and the activity turns into fun activity. So, I really had fun, and yan, bago na po yung aquaculture training regulations. So, mukhang matinding trabaho na naman kasi kailangan ko na naman pong i-adapt, baguhin yung, or gagawa pa pala ulit actually kasi bago talaga yung aquaculture NC2, naging 3. So, I do not know kung may mga major po dito ng aquaculture. Yung aquaculture NC2 ay naging 3. So, pinaghiwalay na yung grow out, nursery, and may tilapia hatchery. Wherein, however, practice na naman po namin yon. So, that's all and thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Helen. Sino po yung aquaculture din po dito? Sino po makaka-relate si Ma'am? Ayan. So Ma'am, may kakampi po kayo doon sa magiging mabigat but challenging but fun no, na gagawin po ninyo in the next few months. So let's move to Ma'am Jessa. Si Ma'am Jessa po ay from Pasig Trade School. So I heard, Ma'am Jessa, nagturo kayo sa isang military camp. So, kwento niyo po kami
Sige, good morning po sa ating lahat, mga ka-STEMified. So, bali po yung training ko is iba naman po sa kanila kasi naka-institution based. Yung sa akin po kasi is na-i-conduct yung training sa community based kasi nga po dahil sa TESDA, Lingap ay maaasahan, yung training dinadala natin sa community kasi meron po tayong mga kababayan na gustong mag-avail ng training. Pero however, malayo po, so tayo na lang po ang pumupunta doon. So sa pag-conduct po ng training sa community, isa pong challenge ko doon is yung venue. Kasi naging dalawa po yung venue ko. Yung isa po nasa training, military camp, yung kalahati po nasa cover gym po ng LGU. So yun po yung isa. Then isa po sa tinitingnan ko din na factor is yung educational background. Since si TESDA po, iba-iba po yung client namin. Kinikater po namin yun. However, may mga trainees talaga tayo na they are not expressive po sa through writing or speaking their thoughts, pero naipapamalas naman po nila yung kanilang kakayanan sa skills demonstration. So yun po yung mga sa STEM learning activities natin. Pero through STEM learning activities din po, natuto silang maging innovations po. So for example, sa isang community ko po, paano ba natin makakapag-produce ng product na tatawagin nyo talaga na inyo, knowing that Iloilo City has been named the gastronomic city. So yung ginawa po namin is nag-think sila ng kanilang, ano ba yung product ng LGU na yon. So yung product nila ho is bangus. So paano natin ma-incorporate yung bangus sa tinapay? Kasi yun po yung So yung ginawa po namin is gumawa sila ng bangus filling para po sa siopaw. So yun po sir yung para sa akin is magandang experience kasi hindi, as what Sir Alfie have said po, na nagiging employment ready sila or magiging entrepreneur ready sila, nagiging innovators rin po sila sa kanilang pamamaraan.
Thank you, Ma'am Jess. Nakatikim na po ba kayong gano'n? Have you ever tried a siopaw filled with bangus? Ano po? Sample. Mamaya, magde-demo po si Miss Jessa kung paano gawin po yung siopaw na yun. I hope everyone can have a taste of that siopaw na may bangus inside, bangus filling. So thank you, Ma'am Jessa, for sharing your stories, teaching a TVET in a military camp and reaching out to your communities. This time po, we'll listen to Engineer Jeremy De Vinagracia. Mayong buntag, sir, from Agusan.
Hello, mayong buntag. Good morning sa tanan. My experience in STEM and TVET, the process is at first parang mahirap talaga siya because you have to incorporate or you have to yung STEM into our curriculum. So first we visit the competency-based curriculum, then we select the STEM competencies that's suitable to each of the learning outcomes of the electrical installation and maintenance. So actually naman, yung electrical installation have STEM, but on the side of the engineer sides. On the technician sides, maybe the barrier, or sometimes the technician and the engineers cannot agree on that the same time because of the STEM mismatch. Kasi yung nagbigay ng instructions is full of may STEM graduates, yung ordinary naman na technicians, yung STEM niya ay hindi masyadong mataas compare. So this process, STEM in Tibet, so nabibigyan siya ng pansin kasi alam na nila yung mga properties ng mga materials. So yun ang mga ginagawa namin ng mga competency-based learning materials para mag-increase yung STEM ng Tibet graduate in terms sa electrical installation. So yung mga process, minsan kasi sabi ng mga bata, sir, ang hirap. But sabi ko, okay lang kasi lahat naman tayo may first time. So kailangan talaga. So the heart of the trainer, so kailangan mo talaga ibuhos for the first time na talagang ituturo mo doon. Then later on, after the scaffolding, ay magiging matuto na sila, magiging matuto mag-research, magiging matuto kasi yung mga activities, the learning, STEM learning activities, kailangan talaga doon sa mga tawag natin na activities or the outcome, kailangan talaga mabuhos nila lahat ng mga kailangan na doon na mga technologies, the science, for example, a simple switch. Ma-explain nila that the switch is just not only on and close or on and off the switch, but the properties inside the switch, the copper alloys, they know also the properties of that. It's because the properties of that is, it depends always on the area. So the more resistance, the lower the resistance. So kaya minsan yung tawag natin yung mga electrician, pag may nasira sa inyong bahay, nasira yung switch, yung number one na remedy is papalitan. Then after the next year, nasisira na naman, so papalitan. Pero hindi nila na-solve. What causes? Na palagi siyang nasisira. So doon pasok yung STEM. So ngayon, yung graduates namin, sigurado na kami na hindi lang siya tawag natin na hindi lang siya hindi lang siya nagkukumpuni, hindi lang siya, at makapag-negotiate yan sa iyo na kailangan na natin palitan yung mga wires ninyo kasi nag-iiba na yung mga. So, ganon yung tawag namin na output dito sa STEM and Tibet.
And sure tayo, sir, na hindi annually nagpapalit ng switch. Tama po?
Yes po, yes.
Hindi po nagpapalit ng switch po, yung mga kinukumpune ng mga estudyante po ninyo. So we heard about the stories of Miss Jessa, who is teaching in a military camp. Si Ma'am Helen naman po ay malapit sa Palayan and Fish Pond. Si Sir Alphys, I think, is in a provincial center. Lucky for you, sir. And si Sir Jeremy, I think, is also teaching in a school setting. So pakinggan naman po natin yung kwento ni Sir Mark. Sir, gaano po kalayo yung tinuturuan po ninyong school?
Mahupay nga agahay yung matalan. So, based sa experience ko sa STEM and TVET, so unang-una, bago pa lang akong nagtiteach noon. Tapos pagtingin ko sa email, may order na mag-attend ng STEM and TVET. Tapos nung attendance ko sa STEM and TVET, parang medyo mahirap kasi hindi siya yung usual na teaching. Parang may mga additional na kailangan gawin, which is positive naman. Kasi yung STEM, para siyang nagbubungkal ka ng lupa, nagpapatubo ka ng tanim. Parang yung STEM, parang yung fertilizer. Siya yung nagpapadami ng nutrition na kung saan makaka-harvest tayo ng marami. Tapos yun, kailangan mo i-input yung STEM-oriented activities na bagay talaga doon sa topics or sa program o qualification na ituturo mo. Then sa experience ko naman on the field, so yung inaakyat ko talaga, akyat as in literal na bundok yung pinupuntahan ko, is 2 to 3 hours. Nagpapahinga kami 3 to 5 times every Monday and Friday ng hapon. Minsan, gabi na kami nakaka-uwi. Kasi hindi talaga siya accessible ng transportation vehicle. So yun talaga yung parang challenge din sa akin. Then, yung mga trainees ko din is mga farmers. So kasi organic agriculture production in situ. Yung itinuturo ko sa kanila is yung sustainable farming na hindi mo na kailangan bumili ng mga commercial fertilizer. So, gagamitin natin yung resources natin na makikita natin sa Tapos may STEM-oriented activities na kung saan para sa akin na-improve yung cognitive nila, yung sa decision making. So malaki talaga yung parang tulong ng STEM sa pagkandak ng trainings para maging fruitful pa yung result.
Thank you, Sir Mark. No, dito po natin nakikita na when teachers are actually equipped with the right resources, the right strategies that they can use in the classroom, it's not only empowering them as teachers, it's not only empowering us as teachers, but it's also actually empowering our learners, and they become better individuals, and supporting their aspirations that they as well can do for themselves, and they can also do for their community. They mentioned about they develop organic fertilizers, so farmers will no longer buy for commercial fertilizers, and even developing their entrepreneurial skills so they can also provide for themselves and earn something for their family. And that's actually a Filipino culture that we provide for ourselves. We also and when we have enough for ourselves, we extend it to our family members and even our community. So Ms. Karen mentioned yesterday that one of the things that we need to see is, say for example, if we integrate a certain program or a certain strategy in the classroom, paano po ba natin na-measure? Ano po yung ginagawa natin na say, mechanism to measure that STEM competencies are actually applied in real life when you use it in the classroom or when you teach it in the classroom? Who would like to go first? Paano po natin na-measure yun? Yung mga STEM competencies.
Hello. Okay. So the indicators or the program and the indicators or the graduates indicators, when they have STEM competencies, so usually makikita mo dyan, they have an improvement on the documentation, your maintenance documentation. For example, in the electrical installation na employ yan sa company ninyo, yung katangian niya is marunong siya mag-document on all your maintenance activities. Then, madali silang magkaintindihan ng supervisor. Because yung supervisors, yung project engineers ay magaling yan. Pero dito sa baba, the technicians, kung may problema sa technicians, maraming delays ang problem. So yun ang mga tawag natin na STEM and TVET or the STEM, with STEM competencies graduates and TVET. So you can, makaasa kayo na they can make detailed report, detailed documentation, then can explain all the problems in the field. So hindi na masyado, para kahit na through text or through call, you can magkaintindihan kayo ng supervisors ninyo at saka yung technicians na gumagawa doon sa baba. So yun ang parang isang indicators na yung company na nag-i-employ doon is hindi na masyadong nag-train because they are already have the competencies in the STEM competencies which magagamit niya doon. So maybe the productivity or it will shorten the time. For example, setting up an equipment. So mas shorten because it is scientific or it is in engineered ways. Hindi na ina-alter. Kasi minsan kasi may yung kung matatandaan ninyo, yung mga technicians na mayroon din silang sarili. Pero usually pagdating ng engineers, masisira to kasi hindi So may mga ganon na mga example na kailangang i-repeat. But with STEM competencies, the graduates with the STEM competencies, so the indicators is yun.
So like a set of indicators that these are the skills that the student will need to demonstrate, and once you check those, that's actually a manifestation that there's some na-develop po yung STEM competencies. Mag-agree po ba yung ibang panel discussants natin?
Yes po.
What are other ways?
For me po, Sir Melvin, I would like to stretch on the competitive advantage po ng mga graduates po natin. Kasi basically in the classroom setting, though we have demonstration, but we are only guided, of course, or we use the performance criteria checklist just to measure if they were able to really perform these things. But for me is the overall po na measure as to whether the STEM competencies really worked for that particular students po or graduate po natin is that, for example, in my case po, I have mentioned a while ago about the innovation. I integrated also innovation and also the mechanics of food safety. You know, there was this learner, a graduate I had in Kokiri Institute, because since in 2021 po na nag-implement po tayo, nag-integrate po tayo ng STEM, fortunately po, from 2021, I submitted entry for the provincial skills competition. And from 2021 up to 2023 po, we sustained to winning gold po in provincial skills competition. And ano po yung tinitignan ko doon na nagiging advantage po ng competitor ko? Because you know, when it comes to cooking, just the basic cooking is alam ng lahat ng competitors yon. But when it comes to innovation, because you need to create another dish, and also there are those criteria in the, of course, in the judging criteria, which also focuses on food safety. Kaya naisip ko, sir, na since I have already integrated the process of food safety, ngayon sa competition, yung competitor ko, hindi na ho siya nahihirapan doon sa pag-adjust because, you know, if only do adjustment for the purpose of the competition, mahihirapan ka because, you know, the limited time of preparation. But since that practice has already been transpired during the training period, we have 40 days in training for Kokiri Institute, then plus the preparation for the competition. So yun po yung nagiging indicator ko nga na it will become an advantage, competitive advantage po ng graduate po na. Second, sir, is that yung sa employment po, I mentioned a while ago yung sa costing. So though, kapag ka-exit kasi ng Kokiri Institute, sabihin mo, okay, you will become a cook. But you are not also thinking, or maybe it is not in the minds of the graduates na one day mapopromote po siya. I had this graduate that in a span of 6 months of employment, napopromote po siya sa head cook. Ngayon, kapag head cook ka na, you will do the menu planning, then you will do the costing. Because aasahan ka na ng kumpanya na gagawa ng bagong dish, then you will also have to propose the costing of that particular dish. Binabalikan ako ng graduate, sir, alam mo sir, yung tinuro mo sa amin na costing po, gamit ko na po ngayon dahil na-promote po ako ng ganito at ganyan. So, he already have this, you know, competitive advantage po among other po, not only in the classroom setting, but also in the industry po.
And so nag-agree po ba tayo that TVET is not second class? Right? So it's really empowering, you know, giving chances to those who cannot proceed to higher education, and not only giving them chances, but empowering them, giving them the power to do it and make their lives better. No? So may gusto po bang mag-add doon sa sinabi ni Engineer Jeremy and Sir Alfie, doon sa like how we measure, what's our way of measuring that sir really STEM competencies developed among our trainees? Sir.
Yes, sir. Bali po sa training kasi, unang ginagawa namin is to provide the concept, the idea kung paano gagawin yung ganitong bagay. Then we have the evaluation. So kung STEM-oriented evaluation yung gagamitin, may scamper tayo, which is gagawa tayo ng substitute, tapos parang mag-i-innovate tayo. Then makikita mo yan sa actual na, sa performance na talaga. Na kung wala silang ibang gagamitin, maghahanap silang substitute. So yun talaga, parang makikita mo talaga, yung STEM competencies is parang na-adapt talaga. So yun lang po, sir.
Thank you, sir. So if you actually participated in one of the workshops, you are actually given a list of tools that you can use when you go back to your classroom. These are actually Scamper, for example. It was challenging for some participants, but it was very helpful when they go back to their classrooms and they use Scamper. It challenged their students, and from doing that activity, in a recursive manner, they get the hang of it, and then students become innovative and become creative and they think of new ways on how to improve products or services or things that they can do for their school as an output or for their community. Ma'am Helen or Ma'am Jessa?
Well, in the measurement of our outputs, I guess ang unang-una is as a teacher, you will already determine the improvement of your trainees. Just like for example, in the concept na pag may namatay na isda, parang wala lang sa kanila before. But this time, they will prevent the fish from the mortality. Or else, merong silang i-analyze, i-postmortem analysis, di po ba? And makikita na nila na it's very important na ma-prevent mo yung mortality because you are in the aquaculture, there should be production, a better production. So doon mo na mako-conceptualize na nag-change na yung kanilang concepts, no? Na-acquire na nila yung aquaculture. Sabi ko pa nga, you are in the aquaculture, you culture fish, kailangan hindi nyo kinakain yung isda. Kinukulture nyo eh. Ang purpose natin, ibebenta siya. It's production, it's for income. Diba? So, pag nag-harvest sila, ma'am, wala kaming pang-lunch, hindi nyo pwedeng kainin yan. Ito. So, yun yung
Pero nangyayari po yun? Nangyayari po yun?
Opo.
Anong isda po yun, Ma'am Helen, if you don't mind me asking?
Meron po kaming
Tilapia.
tilapia, hito.
Masarap din kasi ang tilapia, no?
Opo.
For lunch. Yeah.
So, yun, no, nauuna, may mga estudyante na, ma'am, yung pang-lunch, parang gano'n, no? So, pero alam na niya kung anong sagot ko eh. Kasi yun na yung na-conceptualize sa kanila. So, doon na lang malalaman mo na. And then, of course, meron kaming mga self-check palagi. Meron tayo palaging self-check. Meron din po tayong progress chart. However, pag merong akong estudyante na needs improvement pa, nire-record ko lang yon, hindi ko nilalagay doon sa progress chart kasi medyo intimidating naman sa kanya. Pero may note ako na kailangan ito yung tutukan natin. And then gradually, makikita mo ulit na meron na siyang improvement. And then, may institutional assessment, merong national institution, and lastly, ito yon sa employability. So, I am glad to inform everyone na yung from the implementation of the STEM, graduate na po sila, and ayan, pinag-aawayan na po sila ng industry in the field of aquaculture.
Thank you for sharing. I was actually about to ask, kung, say for example, if our trainers and even those who are in the audience right now, are we confident to say that when we integrate STEM and develop STEM competencies among our trainees, are we confident to say that they are employable? From your experience.
Yes, sir.
Of
Yes.
course, we can just end with a yes. Kailangan natin, why do we say yes when na they are employable?
Sir,
What sets them apart from other graduates?
yung sa sa usual na evaluation and usual instructions is to give concept. Unlike sa STEM is magbibigay ka ng concept tapos sila yung papagawan mo ng mga STEM-oriented activities, sila yung gumagawa, parang minamaximize yung potential nila in thinking sa mga iba't ibang bagay. So, in that manner, parang mas lamang sila kaysa sa hindi integrated na STEM, hindi integrated na TVET instruction, kaysa sa STEM, integrated STEM doon sa TVET. So,
Thank you, sir. And I think the dream here is gusto natin yung nangyari sa mga students ni Ma'am Helen na when they finish, when they complete a certain training, pag-aagawan sila ng industries. And I think that's the dream for our TVET trainees, no? Na we are sure that they have a job that they can apply, and they will land on that job position, and they will be hired, so they can have better chances of quality of life. And this time, I'd like to invite our participants in the crowd right now to also feel free to send your questions. I think it was shown earlier, the QR code where you can actually ask questions. And I hope there are already questions now. So let me just check hear some of the questions coming from one of our on-site participants. Ayan po. So, nanggaling po ito kay, hindi po pinangalanan ang sarili niya, no? But yes, it seems that you have developed best practices through the years in teaching. Sa tingin po ninyo, how can the existing policies on TVET in the Philippines be further enhanced to ensure effective implementation and alignment with industry needs? Ayan po. So it was mentioned earlier by Ma'am Helen that there's a new training regulations. Tama po ba? It's an amended training regulations. There are already changes in some of the training regulations. But sa tingin po ninyo, very quickly, how can we further enhance the implementation? That there's effective implementation po and alignment with industry needs.
Yes, sir. As to the STEM integration is concerned, there is already policy and advisories and circulars that is already downloaded from TESDA Central Office to all of us in the field, to the necessity to integrate STEM. And not only STEM, there are also 21st century and the rest of those aspects that needs to be integrated in our curriculum, sir. So that has already been established by TESDA. TESDA is already doing such action for us to really integrate that in our curriculum. So now the challenge is on the end of the trainer to really implement the integration and also to sustain. Not only that we integrate only by this time, but also to sustain. And of course, we have this, and having this in mind for all trainers, that we are integrating the right competency to the right qualification and the prospect graduates that we have, sir. And as to the training regulation is concerned, I believe that is reviewed every 5 years po.
So there's an existing review. Tama po, may nangyayaring review of the training regulations. And I think through the Center for Integrated STEM Education and the International Labor Organization, we've been talking to TESDA and NTTA and share these best practices that are happening in the field right now. And probably this will influence how the policies can be further enhanced to better implement the training regulations in the field and making sure that all our graduates are employable and globally competitive. So anyone who would like to add on that statement? Yes, sir.
The training regulation, based on the TISDA guidelines, the TISDA Central Office have, we call that one, expert, for example, experts in electrical sector. So, mayroon silang mga from academe, from industry, from the businessman. So, kung makikita mo doon sa TR, nandun yung mga tao na naggawa ng training regulation. So, meaning, all the training regulation is from the industry. So, ang ginagawa na lang namin, from the training regulation, kino-convert into curriculum, then to session plan, then implementation in the field. So, ang sinusunod po namin sa training regulation is yung from the industry standard. So, yun ang parang paggawa ng training regulation ng TESDA. So, meaning that is 100% aligned to the needs. Okay, thank you.
So, just to parang follow the line of thought about aligning it with the industry needs, do TVET trainers like you do conversations with local industries? Nakikipag-usap po ba tayo? And if you do that, probably give us some insights on how to make good conversations with industry partners and make sure that they are on board and they are really helping our TVET trainer completers. Anyone who would like to, Ma'am Jessa or Ma'am Jessa, you have, or sige po.
Yes po, sir. Actually, we have this TVET forum. And TVET forum is attended by for example, in Bohol, we have already established this industry board, particularly in agri-fishery, but we are already in the process of crafting for the tourism sector and also some other construction sector. So yes, sir, because especially at this time, TESDA is now gearing towards the ABDD or yung area-based demand-driven, meaning to say that the demand is really gotten from the field, and we, the curriculum developer from the field, are also needed to partner with the industry experts, content experts, to make a particular competency standards, and that should be approved by region and also in the central office. So that is actually the direction this time. And like before that, the CS, the TRs are, coming from the central office and downloaded to us, and we will make use of them. But this time, there is also this roadmap of tests that the CS is now being made by those curriculum expert in the field in cooperation with those stakeholders, and the content expert from the fields also then ipapa-approve po namin doon sa taas po. So, ganun po yung ano ngayon.
And I think that's one important practice that I am very sure that some of participants here and or even those who are watching us via official Facebook page, some policymakers in TVET, that when we make policies for TVET, I think it's very important that part of the decision makers and part of the policy makers are actually implementers in the field, because they know the context better, they know what's happening in the field, so they can actually voice out what's happening. And from those experiences, they can articulate that through policy. So it's more addressing the needs of what's happening actually in the ground. So anyone who would like to add on that? Wala na po. Yes, sir.
The order or from the central office is we need to identify the demand, the qualification that are demand on the area. For example, in our case in Agusan del Sur, so we have minings, we have also timber, palkata, something like that. So we have to make any competencies that, because sometimes we have the training is already yung parang sumobra na yung na-train natin na mga ganun na qualification, so hindi na sila so where in fact marami pa palang mga trabaho na dapat pa natin pagbigyan ng training, pagbigyan natin ng pansin, paggawa ng mga curriculum, ano pa talaga yung kailangan in field of, for example, in the making plywoods out of the falcata. So, ano yung mga qualifications, ano yung mga kailangan na mga trabaho doon, so that hindi na sila mag-hire from other province, so doon na sila kukuha within the province. So, kaya mayroon yung tinatawag namin na area-based demand-driven na making of
So
the
parang
competency.
tapping local talents,
Yes.
and they're like providing them opportunities, job opportunities by the industry. I think this question is particularly for Ma'am Helen. Just for curiosity in aquaculture, have you been using instruments to monitor water quality in fish ponds and use data to make correlations to the growth of the fish? Parang this is defense to May pag gusto mo pa this is defense ata dito. Yes, Ma'am Helen.
Yes, sir. That makes our trainees different from the local fish farmers. Medyo yung mga local fish farmers natin, I'm still in the process of convincing them to go on yung scientific fishing, di ba? Pero medyo mahirap kasi alam na namin yan, ganun. Basta na lang silang nagpapakain ng feeds without any computations. So I keep on reaching out to them. But then, yeah, our trainees is of course not afraid of using the instruments. So meron tayong mga water monitoring instruments to measure the oxygen level of the water, the temperature, and the hardness of the water. So alam po nilang gumamit ng ating mga instruments. Medyo maglalambing lang kasi medyo mahirap ang funding sources. Kasi may mga, of course, may mga trending instruments na rin. Like, meron tayong isang instrument that could measure all the water parameters already. Medyo may kamahalan. So, dun nagkakaroon tayo ng challenge para ma-meet mo yung needs ng change of that technology. Of course, upgrading palagi. So, however, with this STEM and with the proper guidance, madali silang matuto. So, madali nilang malaman on how to operate those high level or highly calibrated technology now.
And it starts with conversations with the local communities.
Of course.
di ba?
Yes,
Yes
sir.
po.
So yun, meron din po kaming industry forum. Naging practice na rin po ng aming institution, PTI, through the initiative of our visa. Talagang siya pa yung nagre-remind, magpatawag na kayo ng industry forum wherein all the industries are there. Sila din ang nagsasabi, ito yung parang gaps natin, wala tayo. So next year, please, ito yung idagdag ninyong competencies ng ating ng ating mga trainees. And then of course, meron tayong strong linkages partnership with the industry para doon natin sila papupuntahin for OJT or supervised industry learning. We see to it that all qualifications has suited the industry for that. So yung driving, medyo nahirapan lang kami, may driving din po kasi kami doon. Kasi parang pinagka-car wash na lang. So, yun yung medyo nahirapan pa kami sa industry. Medyo malayo kasi yung Yamaha at Honda industry sa probinsya po namin.
Thank you,
So,
thank you,
yun.
Ma'am Helen. Anyone who would like to add po? And no, I think only Ma'am Helen is in aquaculture sector, but maybe others can also add on that line of thought. Na, are you using instruments or tools? Of course, for sure, sa other training regulations, you've been using tools to your students in demonstrating those skills. So maybe just to wrap up the discussion, I know that you are all really good trainers, and we heard so many good stories and best practices from you guys. And probably, maliban po sa moral support, what support TVET trainers need today? Maliban po sa moral support, ha? Yes po. And you can speak on behalf of your colleagues in your region.
Since bago kasi yung aquaculture natin, merong mga additional tools and equipment. And nagbabudgeting na po tayo to comply with that tools and equipment. So yun, parang medyo yun on budget kasi wala pong capital outlay. Kasi po pati sa building, actually yung aquaculture classroom ko po is minana lang po namin sa DepEd. Kasi parang nag-divide yung isang institution into 3. So namana pa namin into DepEd. Parang diniskartehan lang po namin on how we could suit in our competency-based learning pattern. So, yun po. No? So, we hope to have more scholarship grants for our additional tools and equipment so that we can comply really with the needs of industry. Yun lang po, sir.
Thank you, Ma'am Helen. Anyone who would like to add?
Yes, sir. But before I will proceed to yung sa mga concerns po, sir, meron lang po akong naisip po regarding doon sa relevance po ng curriculum namin towards the industry po. By the way, yung sa curriculum po kasi namin, competency-based curriculum, after we make it, kasi that's the task of the trainer to make the CBC or competency-based curriculum, it doesn't only have to be evaluated within the institution po. We mentioned a while ago that we partnered with the industry po. After we have crafted our CBC, we need to, since we have already partnered in the industry, kailangan po natin ipa-check at pa-evaluate yun doon sa partner po namin na industry. So kagaya for example, in Kukiri Institute, since galing naman po ako sa hotels and resort, mayroon po ako mga kaibigan na mga chef po doon. Doon po ako naglalambing na please try to, evaluate our curriculum. If it's still the competencies that we are still putting into is the demand or the necessities in your field as of the moment. Kasi nga, medyo may na rin, I've been in the industry maybe sometimes in 5 years ago or mga ganun po. So, kailangan ko ding i-update sa mga andun pa rin sa industriya this time. So, that is the relevance po ng CBC or curriculum po namin when it comes to the needs of the industry po. Pinapa-check, pinapa-evaluate po namin. Doon sa needs po naman siguro, Kukiri Institute, sir, particularly, has been a long-standing program po, hindi po siya bago. So kumbaga as to tools, materials, and equipment po, established na po siya. And the training center po namin has already acquired the necessary tools, equipment, and material. Kasi nga, yearly naman po kaming kino-compliance audit, sir. So that is one also of our measures na we are still abreast, we are still within this, we are still complete as to tools, materials, and equipment po. So with that measure, we are assured that all TESDA training institutions, TESDA technology institutions or TTIs are really complying with these requirements. Not even because of we are TESDA, no? Sometimes kasi may mga comparisons na, kasi TESDA kayo, yeah, and yung mga auditors din ninyo, mga taga-TESDA din. So, but, in the field, we really have to comply with it religiously because the auditors din naman is not coming from within the region. So, it's inter-region. Let's say, for example, in Region 7, we are audited by Region 8, no? So, yung mga ganun po, as to support po, siguro dito tayo sa continuous support and also more engagement with the industry kasi at the end of the day, it's the industry who will, make use, the end user of our graduates. And as I have heard it yesterday na may mga employers pa din po na they're still trying to consider po that the graduate should be like a college graduate, yung mga ganong issue po. So siguro it's more on the industry partners. So we still have to really make a good relationship and also partnership with the industry when it comes to employment of our graduates, sir.
Thank you, Sir Alfie. Sir Mark.
Sa akin naman, kasi sa agriculture ako, so yung namin is to produce products. So sa agriculture ngayon is mas maganda na yung mga technology ng iba. Siguro din tayo ng mga bagong technology para mas mapadali yung pag-mass production natin ng mga agricultural products. Also, hindi lang sa technology, pati din sa mga trainings in processing. Kasi dati, nakakapanood ako ng TV na ganito yung mga kamatis, tinatapo na lang, tapos tig 1 kilo na lang yung ay tig 1 peso lang yung kilo. So kung magkakaroon tayo ng mass production, kailangan may processing din para hindi siya ma-deteriorate. So parang ganun yung para sa akin.
Thank you, sir. Sir Jeremy.
Okay, so in terms, TESDA, in terms in tools and equipment, so the electrical installation and maintenance is already complied of that. But one of our requests is, because we have a junior trainer, so that is not yet, meaning hindi pa sila nakapag-industry immersion. So kung mayroon mga company dito that please give us pagkakataon na opportunity that our junior trainer will be emerging on your company so that they can teach based on what happened in the company. So for me, it's okay for me because I'm from the industry then to the academy. So it's okay. But for my junior trainer, yung mga sumusunod po sa amin, sometimes mayroon pa talaga na hindi pa sila industry immersion. So yun lang ang mga parang request.
It's really about inviting more industry partners to partner with TVET and provide a more welcoming, more nurturing learning environment for our TVET so they will be immersed in industry practices. Tama po yung sinabi niyo, sir, no? Yung po yung sinabi niyo. Ma'am Jessa.
Yes po, I agree with Sir Alfie and Sir Jemry kasi kami ni Sir Alfie were under one sector which is the tourism. So meron po talaga minsang mga establishment na pag nakikipag-partner ka, no, parang nagda-doubt pa sila. So yeah, I agree with Sir Alfie na dapat mas strong po yung partnership with industry, especially yung tourism sa tourism industry po.
And to wrap up the panel discussion in one word, how would you describe your story in integrating STEM and TVET in the field in one word? Who would like to go first? Sir Alfie, I'll go first with you.
One word lang talaga, sir.
One word.
I would say that it is still in the process of development. Development po yung word, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir Mark.
Innovative. Innovative, sir.
Sorry, sir?
Innovative.
Innovative. Sir Jeremy.
Great. Our
Great. Ma'am Helen.
Adventurous.
I like that word. Miss Jessa.
Sustainable, sir.
I like all the words. Once again po, ladies and gentlemen, palakpakan po natin ang ating panel discussants for sharing their insights and experiences on what happened in the field when they integrate STEM in TVET. Once again, I think that concludes our panel discussion on integrating STEM and TVET stories from the field. Once again po, palakpakan po natin sila.
Thank you to our panel discussants and Mr. Melvin Magsayo. So as we've heard, no? So there is, they've discussed about employability, the effect of integrating STEM in TVET, and also from generic TVET, wherein 70% is more on practical, such as work demonstration, and 30% is theory. There's inclusion of STEM skills and also problem solving as part of the theory. And also problem lies in sustainability of integrating STEM, as well as the lack of needed equipments, and also there is a need to map policies on STEM in TVET to identify what is lacking in this landscape. We want to express our sincerest gratitude to our discussants for sharing their knowledge and insights with us today. Let us now award the Certificate of Appreciation to our discussants. May I invite, do we have Dr. Sher Monterola? Yes, okay. May I invite Dr. Sher Monterola to come up on stage to award the certificates, and allow me to read the Certificate of Appreciation. This Certificate of Appreciation is given to Ms. Helen S. Aki for sharing her time, knowledge, expertise, and insights as panel discussant during the STEM and TVET Summit with the theme Reinforcing Future-Ready TVET Through Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, or STEM, held on 25th to 26th of January 2024, given this 26th day of January 2024 in Diliman, Quezon City, Philippines. Signed, Ms. Lenartes M. Veloria, Dr. Sherilyn Monterola, and Mr. Melvin T. Magsayo. The same certificate is awarded to Ms. Jessa Marie Gallego. To Mr. Mark Simon Cabardo. To Engineer Jeremy De Vinagracia. And Sir Alfie Mahumot. Same certificate of appreciation is also awarded to Mr. Melvin T. Magsayo for moderating our first panel discussion this morning. Thank you very much to our panel discussants and Mr. Melvin T. Magsayo. Before we start the second plenary session, we would like to remind our on-site and online participants to write down your questions or comment for our next speaker. Without delay, let's move forward with our second plenary session. Now I'd like to call on Mr. Michael Anthony D. Manpala, the Science Education Specialist of UP NISMED, to introduce our speaker and moderate the second plenary session. Sir Mike?
Thank you, Dr. Ivy. Isang makabuluhang umaga po sa lahat. I'm honored to present our distinguished speaker for the plenary talk this morning. Dr. Sherilyn C. Monterola is a professor at the University of the Philippines, Diliman College of Education. She is the director of the UP National Institute for Science and Mathematics Education Development, or UP NISMED, this institute. Recently, she was a recipient of the University of the Philippines, Diliman Chancellor's Award for Outstanding Teacher and Centennial Professorial Chair from 2020, 2021, and 2022. Dr. Monterola's work focuses on the development of 21st century skills, futures literacy, and STEM skills for basic education, teacher education, TVET, and workforce applications. Some of the programs that she has developed or is currently involved in include Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, Agriculture and Mathematics, or STEAM Innovation Program for senior high school, STEM Education Master Course for teachers, 3D Printing Curriculum for high school, development of competency framework and modules for high school, competency framework and modules on advanced manufacturing, data science for education, training for non-physics majors, innovative pedagogies for 21st century learning, women in science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics or STEAM, IR 4.0 training for teachers, and futures thinking training for teachers. She collaborates with the International Labour Organization, or ILO, Philippines and ILO Malaysia for their Skills for Prosperity program, particularly on the integration of STEM-related generic skills into TVET. In 2016, Dr. Monterola was a visiting scholar at the National Institute of Education at the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. She holds a doctorate degree in physics education from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Mga kasama, paunlakan po natin ng mainit na pagsalubong si Dr. Sherilyn Monterola.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about the entire program of integrating STEM in TVET. I know from earlier's panel discussion, you were able to have a glimpse of what we had done in terms of integrating STEM in TVET. For this morning, for this plenary session, I'll talk about, in general, the effective practices and mechanisms in the Philippines, and provide evidence of what we had done along the journey of integrating STEM in TVET. And this morning, I'd like to start with this one, with this very powerful quotation that sort of motivated us to really commit to working on integrating STEM in TVET. This one really resonated with me when I first encountered this, when I was first collaborating with the ILO. So it says, to remain competitive, a nation needs STEM-capable workers at every education level. And from yesterday's panel, probably you have surmised that there is this, diverse perspective about how we define who are our STEM-related workers or our STEM workers in general. So, there was this particular study done by Brookings Institution regarding the hidden STEM economy. It says that there is this excessive, a professional definition of STEM jobs that actually cost some of our missed opportunities for really providing training or valuable career development to those who need it. So we had this lens of saying that STEM professionals are those that are graduates of hard or pure sciences, applied sciences, engineering, and so on. But we rarely consider those other workers or professionals who actually apply STEM knowledge, STEM skills in their daily jobs. And so, there is this other study done by EDC, Education Development Center, when they actually conceptualize about STEM for living and learning K to lifelong. That's how they actually conceptualize this study. So they actually talked about two fields. One, when you talk about STEM, one we know of our traditional STEM fields. So we have pure and applied science, engineering, design and development of any technology, infra, tools, and hardware. But there's also this other side which is considered STEM-enabled fields. And this actually encompasses arts, AV, ICT, business, finance, public admin, human services, manufacturing. So the list is quite long. Why do you think so? Because when they defined what a STEM-enabled field, they actually said that any field that actually implements or uses STEM knowledge, when we say STEM knowledge, it comes from the science concepts, principles, laws that we know of, the definitions, terms, and so on. And there are a lot of science fields like biochem, physics, and of course, the earth science, geo. So there are a lot of other science fields. But also, not just the science concepts, laws and principles, but also the skills. And what are the STEM skills? These are, of course, our thinking skills, like critical thinking. It's very intuitive in STEM. Problem solving, it's also intuitive in STEM, and other thinking skills that we will encounter in a little while. So as you can see, STEM-enabled fields is actually quite a broad spectrum of fields, and we can now realize that when you talk about STEM-oriented careers or STEM-oriented professionals, so even our carpenter, even our plumber especially, you heard Karen Davila yesterday talking about plumber here in the Philippines, not qualified, but everybody's qualified. Hindi yung di ba? Having a certification for it, but everybody's qualified. But sometimes, without qualification, hit and miss, when they actually, let's say, attend to your concern. Now, also, there are other impetus for this particular program when we were still developing it. One of which is what you call the human technology frontier. As early as 2017, they were saying that humans need to be comfortable interacting with machines. Meaning to say that we have to recognize that when we do our jobs to remain productive, to remain innovative, we have to incorporate some of dealing with machines, using tools, using equipment, and we have to be comfortable dealing with them. And so they were saying that to be able to deal with this human technology frontier of humans interacting or working alongside machines, we should have what you call competencies, And they say that the new breed of workers should have the following. One is, of course, deep knowledge of STE, science, technology, engineering. The other is a set of technical skills, or technical know-how. And then, of course, you have understanding of how computers, robots, and other machines work. So that's another component or another competency. know-how of how to keep data safe, cybersecurity, being able to interpret and communicate data, using or tapping communications technology, being able to use, modify, and create technologies, but take note of the caveat with societal impact. Being able to share work tasks with machines. This one is very interesting. Curiosity, self-directedness, resilience, diligence, persistence. We also have cooperation, interpersonal competence. If you notice the list, there are a lot of things here that are actually aligned with STEM, and we would say that STEM competencies are very much needed when we want to deal with the future of work. So STEM is really central to the future of work. If you want to navigate, if you want to thrive in this, fast-changing landscape, the future of work, the future of jobs, we're dealing with emerging technologies, we're dealing with automation, we're dealing with a lot of things, and what we're saying here is that STEM will help us a lot in terms of being comfortable dealing with these several changes. And so, we also considered the context of the Philippines. There was this study done by World Bank as early as 2017 regarding the Filipino workforce. And in that study done by Acosta and his team, they identified that there should be a way for us to improve the numeracy of Filipino workforce. Because they say that for every 1 standard deviation increase in the numeracy skill of a Filipino workforce, that translates to about 7.5% increase in the probability of employment. And probably you're wondering, why numeracy? Oftentimes when we were starting the program, when you talk about numeracy, they will always talk about, the trainers will always talk about calculation and so on. But later on, we will be able to see what numeracy is, and probably now you understand the reason why we have a workshop here in the STEM in TVET Summit about numeracy in the workplace. Being able to have a broader understanding of what really is numeracy in the workplace. So, these are some of the motivations that we had when we were first developing the program. Also, this was just recent, but I just want to connect it also and emphasize the importance of numeracy. This one was done by ADB, and here, as you can see, that years from now, numeracy will be at the second most, second most important numeracy skill for the IT BPO sector. You can see the other STEM skills also in the list. Similarly, you have this one, the importance of numeracy, this time with the electronic sector. And as you can see, it's the topmost. So these are just 2 sectors, IT BPO and electronic sector. But come to think of it, they already recognize that numeracy is very important. And so when we were developing this, the first step that we had, just for me to also walk you through the journey that we had in developing the STEM in TVET program, there was this regional experts meeting in Bangkok in 2019. This was to talk about the future of STEM in TVETs in Southeast Asia. So Philippines was represented, Thailand, Indonesia, and also, I think, Malaysia at the time. And so part of that regional experts meeting was to define what are we going to need to be able to carry out the STEM in TVET program. What are the elements for this one? So these were some of the items that we identified collectively in that particular regional experts meeting. So 1, to do baseline research so that we'll be able to understand where are we coming from, and then be able to measure later on if there is some improvement. Second, curriculum enhancement and development. Third, trainer capacity building. Also, institutionalization, possibly resurgence of STEM-oriented programs, centers, or schools. Being able to empower learners. generate resources or materials to support the delivery of STEM in TVET, partnerships and cooperations, policy advocacy so that it will become sustainable later on, research and knowledge management, communication strategy and public awareness, and lastly, monitoring, evaluating, and sustaining the mechanisms. So these were the elements that we identified. And then when we returned to the Philippines, as early as January 2020, we had our consultation with the TESDA officials, so with Secretary La Peña at the time, and DDG Rose, or Janetta, and DDG Marisa, Ma'am Marisa at the time, and Ma'am Gladys. So we were able to consult with them just to make sure that there is an alignment. There was an alignment with what we had in mind, what we were able to talk about in Bangkok with the regional experts meeting, through the regional experts meeting, and then talk about the direction of TESDA so that we would know that we're not doing, we are on the same page. We're doing the same thing aligned with the direction, of course, of TESDA. So after that, the consultation, so it was, we were able to understand what's the direction, what's the agenda of TESDA. Of course, at the time, there is the NTSDP, the National Technical Education Skills Development Plan. So I began designing the I began developing the learning design framework. If you scan po the QR code, you'll be able to to access the full paper. So what was the learning design framework all about? First is to define what should be the taxonomy, what should be our STEM competencies in relation to TVET. So what would be this list of skills, knowledge, attitudes, and dispositions relevant to TVET? Second, what are learning theories for integrating STEM in TVET? So what will help us be able to effectively teach or integrate STEM in TVET? Third, what are STEM pedagogies that can be situated in TVET and they would still remain effective? And then, what would be the critical levers that will help us really integrate STEM in TVET? So this was the initial paper just to also make sure that the components are there before we start the program. So part of this learning design framework was to not only look at local frameworks, we had to look at international skills frameworks. So we had to maintain what you call a global stance, global perspective, but at the same time, local responsiveness. So we have to scour the international frameworks so that we'll be able to really say that whatever we're building, it's comparable to what's needed globally. So we looked at these different frameworks from the UK. UK has this very good framework in terms of how they see English or communication in relation to technical education. What about mathematics or numeracy, and what about digital competency? It's this framework on the lower left, on your lower left. At the top, you have the MIT Human Skills Matrix, and then on the right, upper right, you have the House of STEM from Australia. Wherein for the House of STEM framework of Australia, they define there that there should be a STEM shed consisting of the STEM disciplines. Now, when you say STEM disciplines, this would be the knowledge base of science concepts, principles, and laws. But then you have the foundational literacies, one of which is numeracy. And then as you go up, you have the social-emotional skills, advanced cognitive or thinking skills, technical occupation skills, and of course, geared towards improving career, mobility, economy, innovation, and productivity in general. And at the bottom right, you have the critical core skills of Singapore, the Skills Future Singapore. Yesterday, if you remembered po, Director Nelly Diliera talked about the Philippine Skills Framework. And if you study the Philippine Skills Framework, it's very much similar to the Skills Future Singapore critical core skills. So there are 16 critical core skills, yung Philippine Skills Framework po natin, 16 din. Okay? But the Philippine Skills Framework po came a little later. We already started the program when the PSF started. So, also, as I was saying earlier, we had to make sure the alignment with our alignment with the National Technical Education Skills Development Plan 2018 to 2022. And there's a two-pronged reason or goals for the NTSDP. One, to make sure that TVET will be brought to what you call a level of global competitiveness, and of course, ensure workforce readiness. Another is that TVET for social equity and poverty reduction. So that was the part of the NTSDP plan. And of course, TESDA also has what you call the 4IR framework. So we had to make sure that, okay, are we doing capacity building, upskilling of TVET human resource, upskilling of learning facilitators? Are we doing development of competency standards and curriculum responsive to emerging technologies? Are we able to introduce flexible and agile learning delivery system? So these are some of the components of the TESDA 4IR framework. So in the process, we were able to develop the STEM in TVET framework. As you can see at the middle, these are the goals of STEM in TVET. First and foremost, of course, is employability, no? Being able to get a certification and later on being able to have gainful employment. Okay. Second is proactive citizenship. We know that, what do we mean by proactive citizenship? Because if you are employed, or for those who are, let's say, underemployed, but you are contributing to what you call economic development. You are contributing to nation building. So proactive citizenship. And the last one is that of human flourishing. Human flourishing can be something that's beyond, it's actually self-actualization, realizing your full potential. But human flourishing is not that low level, self-actualization. It's beyond that. Because you do self-actualization not just for yourself, but for others also. So, in the same way that we look at human flourishing, it can be lifelong learning also. Meaning to say that you are actually continuously learning to be able to thrive in this ever-changing world. So, after the STEM in TVET Learning Design Framework, we developed the curriculum guide. For the curriculum guide, there's a reference document, no? And when I say reference document, because all the competencies are there already, so the different skills and different multiliteracies, so you will be able to understand, when you talk about critical thinking, what's the relevant knowledge? What are indicators of critical thinking? How do you actually gauge that from your learners? Because it's quite easy to say critical thinking, but you don't know how it can be demonstrated or expressed by your learners sometimes. No? And then, of course, there are templates for STEM learning activities. So these are some of the templates, the popular ones. Scamper. I know for some of you have tried this in the workshop yesterday. We also have Blue Ocean Strategy. Inside the curriculum guide, these are the different templates, and there's this short or brief explanation about what it is intended for. So let's say if you're thinking of this kind of activity, then this can be a choice for you, right? So task analysis, another popular template. We also have usability testing in case there are some products and they need to actually measure whether it's usable from the perspective of the end users that they are targeting. And work process matrix is another. So, but take note, these are just a few of the templates. Marami pa po doon sa loob. So after the development of the curriculum guide, we had the STEM in TVET curriculum write-shop. There were 121 trainers trained, 13 training qualifications with CBC, competency-based curriculum. Also, we utilized the TESDA online program, TOP. We put emphasis on numeracy. There was also integration of technology because at the time po that we were doing this, it was lockdown. So we really had to do, we really had to do the training virtually. And for this part po na curriculum write-shop, we were collaborating with NITSD because NITSD is the one responsible for curriculum development inside TESDA. So, in emphasizing numeracy, this was how we actually adopted the UK framework for numeracy, how they expanded the meaning of what numeracy is in the workplace. So, as you can see here, it's not just about calculation, measurement, estimation, costing, all of those things, numeracy po sila. Okay? And even optimizing work processes, meaning to say, reducing wastage and so on, making sure that you have efficient use of resources such as water, energy, and other of course, materials that you will need in your training qualification. Also, we made sure that we map what numeracy is, no? So as you can see here, measuring with precision, if you look at cookery, so sorry po, TVL and cookery, ano naman po ito, same lang naman yung TR nito. So measuring with precision can be translated into identifying ingredients according to standard recipe and so on. What about using rules and formula? Understanding data and risk. So ito po yung translation natin ng numeracy into actual learning competencies in, let's say, an example, TR, which is cookery, NC2. Ayan po siya. So, being able to communicate and use math, optimizing work processes, and so on. So, we were able to successfully impart with our trainers, no, that these are how numeracy are translated in the workplace. So the curriculum rights evaluation, we were able to get a good result po, no, coming from the 121 participants. So after the curriculum write-up, we proceeded to the training of trainers. And this time, we trained more than the initial one, so 131, and then we were able to develop 26 STEM-oriented session, training qualifications with STEM-oriented session plans. But I think yung document ito mga 3,000 pages, no, in total, dahil madami pong session plans, okay? And then, again, we used the online program, consistently emphasize numeracy, yung integration of technology, but this time po, with the training of trainers, we collaborated with NTTA, the National TVET Trainers Academy. So ito naman po yung ating evaluation. So just to show you this, ano po, how it looked like.
It has become evident that the need for the STEM skills is critical impetus for the development. More than ever, workers need STEM skills to keep up with the advances and changes in the labor market and to design solutions. In the past, innovation and discoveries were associated with professionals with university degrees in STEM because they have always been in the forefront of technology development. However, behind the success of these STEM professionals are the workers testing new ideas and implementing the work from these technologies to work. They are the hidden force that drives STEM-powered economy that forces on productivity, competitiveness, and innovation.
As you know that there is a much discussions in the policy debate highlighting this importance of the generic skills, STEM skills. This is as highlighted as a future skills. Some skills that need to be needed to prepare people to get ready for the changing world. And from IBM's point of view, that we consider that this kind of STEM skills are best, generic skills are best taught when they are embedded in the teaching of particular vocational and technical skills training.
Of course, it's not just about the economy.
it's also about being a good global citizen, being an informed citizen of your country, by understanding that there are all of these huge global challenges that we face as a world, and that we're going to have to come together to solve. And when you can have those skills and have them through this global perspective, where you can work on a team with anyone, and you can communicate with anyone, you're going to be that much stronger at your work.
This training of trainers is very timely and relevant, particularly in our preparation for the fourth industrial revolution. This crucial time calls for our trainers to acquire new skills, STEM skills, socio-emotional skills, and 21st century skills in order to develop learners ready for lifelong learning.
2020 has been a year filled with disruptions caused by pandemic-induced lockdowns and the abrupt shift to an online program. STEM and TVET education provides a foundation for the needed disruptive innovation needed to develop the skills demanded in the new normal. Responsive TVET programs need to focus on the development of STEM competencies that will prepare our workers to be agile, resilient in the face of the rapid changing requirements of the future of work. More than ever, STEM becomes even more relevant, in fact, an imperative in supporting our workers. We look forward to having you as our next TVET ambassadors for STEM, who will lead the way in inspiring and training the next generation of STEM professionals.
Yun po yung training no nung time na yon. Apo, that's the first. And then later on, we shifted gears po. As a way of continuous improvement. So there was this another component that we had to consider, making STEM in TVET inclusive. And it's very critical here to actually use learner-centered approaches. And so we proceeded with developing another set of materials, this time making sure that there is this learner-centered guiding principles being employed in the development of the materials. So I'd just like to emphasize here, there are different components of the education sector, right? Access, curriculum, learning delivery, learning resources, and you have to make sure that you have to be able to ensure that there's inclusion. You're able to attend to your marginalized sectors, the vulnerable learners, and so on. You have to have learner-centered pedagogy, learning process and materials. You also have to do recognition of prior learning and making sure that there's mainstreaming that's possible, that's included in your system. And so we had to transition the STEM in TVET and make it bigger into STEM in TVET that's learner-centered. So that's on the miss po yung on the left side, on the right side. So here, I just want to pay attention to the gray additional items there. These are actually the dimensions of learner-centered TVET. So I just want to point out, like for example, task authenticity. That's a part of it. Theory, practice, connection, because we cannot just deal with theories in TVET. Otherwise, our TVET will fail, right? You have to ensure theory, practice, connection. But part of that also is constructivism, meaning to say, you learn by doing. You actually experience firsthand how to do it and make sure that you're able to also build your understanding based on these actual experiences. And so, part of the design that we had,
this activity is organized.
Sorry about that. I'm running out of time. I hope I can show it in a little while. Part of the new design for this learner-centered approach was to make sure that teachers, trainers are able to interact with industry practitioners. So even though we were doing it at the time, online, we had what you call an industry panel. So like, for example, the corporate vice president of Unilab Manufacturing Network, the president of Fastech, which is a semicon company, Mr. Conrad Artagame, the talent management and organizational development, so it's like the HR head of Western Digital. So we made sure that teachers or trainers will be able to hear first directly from these industry practitioners and leaders what's needed by the industry, so that, they will not just be thinking about what we want to do in class, but it somehow connect to what's needed by the industry. Okay? And also, after that, we co-develop materials because it's not possible to, just train teachers and just, let them do it in the class. So we had to co-develop materials with the trained trainers. And when I say co-development, we're not, discarding the things that they have been doing, but we just reinforce them with the STEM-oriented or STEM pedagogies, STEM learning activities. Because in fact, some are already STEM-oriented. But it's just a matter of really saying that there's STEM in this, that what are the skills, what are the concepts, and so on, what will be an appropriate teaching strategy. And so part of that is to develop the counterpart student workbook. Kasi kung may trainer's guide, dapat merong student workbook. So ito po yung naging results ng pilot implementation. Although narinig niyo naman na directly from our implementers, yung kaninang naunang panel. As you can see, we have significant improvements in different measures of competencies, no? And ito po, there's room for improvement. It's a work in progress. We can still, continue on increasing the number of competencies being able to integrate, for which we are able to integrate STEM, no? At ganun naman yung ginawa nung base sa kwento ng ating mga trainers, ganun po yung kanilang ginawa. And then, we did not only work with TESDA. We also started working with DepEd. At that time na po, launch na ang Matatag. So this time po, we went to DepEd. Ito naman this time, making TVL learner-centered. So STEM in TVL naman na po, learner-centered STEM in TVL. And we made sure that it's aligned with the Matatag agenda. And sa side naman po ng DepEd, meron kasing tinatawag na Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. So we had to make sure na aligned din doon sa PPST, yung gagawin nating mga ibang capacity building. So for learner-centered STEM in TVL, we developed a handbook for teachers. Sorry, hindi ko po na-include dito yung QR code, pero mamaya pwede namin ibigay. Meron pong mga lesson exemplars. We also did capacity building. And we will also give to DepEd a set of self-paced digital teaching module that will be, if DepEd will allow it later on, will be integrated in the DepEd LMS. Kasi po tapos na kasi yung project, but we just want to make sure that it will be cascaded. Apo. So, to wrap up everything that we have done, just to highlight the effective practices and the mechanisms for integrating STEM in TVET, which also connect to these items, connect to the earlier items that we have identified when we were starting this in 2019, during the regional experts meeting in Bangkok. But this is the sequence. First, alignment with the national plan. We have to make sure that we are in synergy with the lead agency. So in our case, it was TESDA, and then later on, it was DepEd with the Matatag agenda. Second is the development of taxonomy of STEM competencies, and we also have that. Third is the development of curriculum guide so that teachers will really understand, or trainers will really understand how to do it. And of course, partnerships and cooperations. In our case, when we're talking about curriculum, we partnered with NITSD. When we were talking about training of trainers, we partnered with NTTA, Ma'am Mary. So after that, we did the trainer capacity building. And then with the trainers trained, we co-develop materials, so that's resource generation. And then we made sure that there's a metric for us to determine the effectiveness of the program, so that we can say that there's really a push to continue it. So there was research, a pre and post measurement, as you saw earlier, and then continuous improvement. So when we were dealing with this, we added, let's say, this component, learner-centered, and then we made sure that when we brought it to DepEd, it should be along the format of DepEd. So the lesson exemplar, because it's not session plan for DepEd, but lesson exemplar. And then also considering the PPST. On the side of TESDA, it would be the trainer's methodology. Okay? And then synergy with other TVET programs, so making sure that we are connected with DepEd and we are connected also with TESDA kasi para naman silang TVET programs, diba? They are using the same training regulations. Although there are some issues, but I guess if we're able to sort of introduce something that's, that connects them, so maaayos din naman po in the long run. And then of course, communication strategy and public awareness, the entire reason for doing the STEM in TVET Summit, to make sure that we communicate the work that we did together with TESDA and together with DepEd, so that we'll be able to have more champions join us in sustaining these efforts that we have done for integrating STEM in TVET. So maraming salamat po. As I end, I just want to leave you with this as how we really advocate for STEM. STEM is not just, STEM as a subject. We can see it as skills and tools for the inquiring minds, skills and tools for employment, skills and tools for an entrepreneurial mindset, and lastly, skills and tools for empowered citizenry. So this is what STEM is all about, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sher. That was equal parts informative. Dr. Sher, Dr. Sher, for the longest time, STEM and TVET have lived separate but parallel lives, if it can be called that. And yet, today, we see an intersection, or we see the two learning pathways meeting. Is it a meeting halfway?
Actually, I wouldn't say meeting halfway, but really being true to their nature. Because TVET is really intuitively STEM. As you can see, the thinking skills, the technical know-how, the use of different tools and equipment, very STEM. But what we can say is that if you're able to optimize the use of thinking skills, then it will be easier to actually perform tasks or job roles, right? And so that is, I think, the power that's being brought by STEM into TVET. And also, because for the longest time, because it's in the nature of TVET, STEM is intuitively in TVET, but it's implicit. What we're trying to do is to make sure that it's explicitly talked about, making sure that STEM is not something that will intimidate TVET learners, but it's something that they will embrace because it's something that, will make them more competitive. So, that's
Indeed, Dr. Sher. Dr. Sher, is there a standard or standardized approach to integrating STEM into TVET, or is standardization needed at all outside of the STEM in TVET framework?
Based on our experience, again, I was talking about alignment, making sure that it's aligned with the agenda. So because if you, for example, introduce this particular program, and it goes against the entire agenda of the institute, let's say DepEd, TESDA, or it's not clear where you situate it, then there will be no buy-in coming from the stakeholders. Second is that when we were doing the STEM competencies for TVET, we made sure that they touch on the 21st century skills framework of TESDA, because TESDA already has it. So we made sure that we map it so that trainers will be able to realize, okay, it's intuitively there already. So what we're doing is actually reinforcing what's there, but learning more about STEM learning activities that I can actually do in TVET or in my training qualification. So we did also with the Matatag curriculum. DepEd has its own 21st century skills framework, so we made sure that we identified it. And then part of that mapping that's where we realized that numeracy is not really emphasized in our TVET program. Although in formal basic ed, it's emphasized because there's a math class, but we see also the small results. So there's this, a need to broaden our understanding of what numeracy is, really.
Indeed, Dr. Sharon. I was in workshop 2 yesterday. Sa workshop ni Dr. Mona at sa ni Ma'am Cheryl. This workshop is titled Beyond Numeracy. Nakita natin doon at saka ng mga participantes natin yung pointillistic details ng kung paano maaaring mailapat ang STEM sa TVET. Pero kung halimbawa paglalapat ang pag-uusapan, Dr. Sharon, mayroong tuon din ba ito sa balanse? There's this question, Dr. Sharon, from the audience. How do you address now the balance between theoretical STEM knowledge and practical application in TVET programs?
A practical application, because, okay, let's deal first with the concepts. Because if you have a solid understanding of the concepts, it will be easier for you to not deal with the practical applications. Because if you understand the rules, for example, let me give an example that I encountered with our carpenter. Okay, so our carpenter, so I hired him to install our door, and then so he started carving the hinge, yung space for the hinge, o yung bisagra, ayan po. But then, siguro yung spatial understanding, yung sa geometry, so hindi na alam na ganito ilalagay yung door. So yung pagkakalagay position niya ng mga hinge, yung space para sa hinge ay sa kabilang side. So kailangan niya uling so nasira na. So you see yung parang if you're not really able to understand visually yung space, yung use ng space, kung paano siya mapoposition yung material mo. So, ganon. And yung pag-estimate din ng materials, di ba? Yung if you're not really into, let's say, you don't have mathematical understanding or yung area and how many tiles will be needed if you want to, let's say, cover this particular area. And then costing, of course, which is very important, na-mention kanina ni Sir Alfie. So, and then, of course, yung proportion, di ba? Pagka madami kang pagkulang sa cooking o sa bakery, pagkulang ng leavening agent, anong mangyayari doon sa produkto mo. So, and then, of course, safety din. Una rin yung safety, let's say sa welding. Di ba? If you don't know yung parang basis, bakit ganito yung pag-handle mo ng material, kasi there's a scientific basis for that. So chances are that you will get hurt. So nakakabit pa rin siya din sa occupational safety. So ito yung mga nakikita ko na parang mas madaling vehicle natin para ma-explain bakit din kailangan pag-aralan yung theory. Pero syempre, we do not forget about the practical application.
Thank you, Dr. Sher. So maliwanag, Dr. Sher, na kailangan na may balanse between theory and practice. Actually, yun din ang ginagawa natin sa STEM, di ba?
Yes.
Okay. Here's another question, Dr. Sher. How successful has it been integrating STEM into Philippine TVET programs? Are there specific metrics or indicators that have been used to assess the impact on student outcomes and the alignment with industry needs?
Siguro yung isang success na ito ang ikakwento siguro sa panel ay yung susunod na panel. Yung sustainability in the sense that kasi tapos yung project, may mga na-train, we partnered with NITST, so they already introduce it dun sa level na, with the CLM, yung Contextual Learning Matrix, they're making sure that the trainer's methodology will have it. So meaning to say, all the other TVET trainers who will come later, or who will, let's say upgrade or upskill, may encounter nila yung STEM in TVET. So yun yung isa. But we still need to do, let's say, in terms of tracer study, siguro, yun yung isang introduce natin. Hindi na namin ito nagawa for the Philippines, but dun sa Malaysia, when I did the work, yun yung sinasabi natin continuous improvement. So, you saw that gap, and so, nag-introduce ng parang tracer study doon. Kasi, so, merong instrument, but it can also be shared to TESDA so that they can also do tracer study, what happened to their graduates after, for those who went through that STEM-oriented training qualification.
Thank you, Dr. Sher. May isang tanong dito, Dr. Sher, tungkol sa pag-aaral na ginawa ninyo. Where can we access the study, your study, Dr. Monterala? Or will it be provided with or will they be provided with copies of the PowerPoint daw, at least for reference?
Yeah, we can share it kasi po, siyempre gusto rin ng ILO to disseminate the information, the entire program, no? And then later on, we'll also, nasa email list naman po kayo once we're also aiming for a journal article publication, so we'll also share it with you. But for now, all the evaluation report, we can share it with you po. Yung QR code lang na na-share ko, dalawa lang, but I can share the folder na naman po sa inyo. I think lights will like that. Opo, thank you.
So, thank you very much, Dr. Sher. Sorry guys, we're running out of time. Pero Dr. Sher, no, if it were just up to you, I mean, there are a lot of factors contributing that could get in the way of integrating STEM in the TVET curriculum. But if it were just up to you, how do you see this integration taking shape? And if I may add, what shape would that look like in the Philippines?
We want to, as much as possible, still have more advocates for STEM in TVET. We want more teachers TVET trainers and TVL teachers realizing the importance of, developing STEM skills alongside with, of course, their technical know-how. If we have the program already, we have a set of materials. It's just a matter of really tapping it, and if you're interested, we can still, go on with it, especially with the Center for Integrated STEM Education. All the materials are there, and if you need actual capacity building, it's also possible because system already has like a 2-day program, a 3-day program. So please just reach out to us so that we'll make sure that this program will not stop, just because it's really out of funding already.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sher. Indeed, napakarami pa pong hamon ang kinakaharap ng bawat isa sa atin na narito ngayon. Pero lahat ng hamon na ito ay maiipawan natin simula ngayong araw na ito sapagkat nag-umpisa na ang pag-uusap. Dr. Sher, gusto ko rin anyayahan ang lahat ng mga narito na lumahok sa kasamatteachersph.ning.com. kasamatteachersph.ning.com. Online community po ito ng science and mathematics educators na na-pioneered by UP NISMED. Libre po ang paglahok. Dito po sa website na ito, pwede po nating ituloy ang bahaginan natin at pwede rin po tayo maka-access ng mga libreng mga rekurso na magagamit natin, makakasangkapanan natin sa pagtuturo ng ating mga TVET courses. Again, Dr. Sher, thank you very much. Very, very insightful po.
So thank you, Dr. Sher Monterola and Mr. Michael Montala. So from the session this morning, panel discussion, and also Dr. Sher describing the STEM competencies, we are now halfway to our complete understanding of what is STEM in TVET. Kasi marami dito ang medyo may hindi pa alam, what is STEM in TVET. So this 2-day summit is actually giving us an understanding of what is STEM in TVET. And with that, we would like to award a certificate of appreciation to Dr. Sher. Dr. Sher, pwede pong bumalik ulit. And may I call on Mr. Melvin Magsayo to award the certificate. And let me read this certificate. This certificate of appreciation is given to Dr. Sherilyn C. Monterola for sharing her time, knowledge, expertise, and insights as a plenary speaker during the STEM in TVET Summit with the theme, Reinforcing Future-Ready TVET Through Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, or STEM, held on 25 to 26 January 2024, given this 26th day of January 2024 in Diliman, Quezon City, Philippines. Signed, Ms. Leonardes M. Veloria and Mr. Melvin P. Magsayo. A certificate of appreciation is also awarded to Mr. Michael B. Montala for being the moderator of this session. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Monterola, Mr. Mantala, and Mr. Magsayo. This concludes the first half of our morning session. Before we have our break, may we remind again everyone to refrain from using the Wi-Fi network for streaming videos or other bandwidth-intensive apps during this time. And we would also like to acknowledge some of our online participants who are tuning into our live broadcast from their schools. We have Engineer Virgilio V. Dionisio of Memorial High School, Taytay Senior High School STEM Young Researchers and Innovators Guild, DepEd Tayo Blue Rizal Taytay Senior High School, STOQC Balingasa High School, San Beda College of Alabang, AVRNHS Asingan, Juan Sumulong High School Cubao, and finally GPG SHH Imo City Cavite. Thank you very much for joining us on the second day of the STEM Summit, and let's take a 15-minute break for coffee and morning snacks. Please be back here at exactly 10:50 a.m. for the second part of the morning session.
National Institute for Science and Mathematics Education Development, or UP-NISMED, is a research and extension unit of the University of the Philippines. Guided by its mandate to improve science and mathematics education, NISMED performs three major functions: research, curriculum development, professional development, and extension services. Through the years, NISMED has been generating new knowledge regarding science and mathematics teaching in the country. Research outputs, such as teaching materials, are tried and tested to teachers and students inside the classroom. Relevant and innovative teaching materials are made available online and at NISMED publications for distribution. In addition, NISMED is highly involved in the framing of the National Science and Mathematics Basic Education curricula. Equipped with subject area specialists, NISMED offers professional development programs which cater to the needs of teachers and educators in the country and Asia-Pacific region. These training programs deepen teachers' understanding of the subject areas they teach. NISMED promotes science teaching through inquiry and teaching mathematics through problem solving. Not only it conducts training programs, but also mentors science and mathematics teachers in the elementary and secondary levels. NISMED also promotes Lesson Study, a school-based teacher professional development model which originated in Japan and is now gaining popularity in the country. To reach out to various communities, NISMED uses different platforms online. It also ventured into television to popularize science among general viewers and used radio to reach out to more teachers and the public.
Ito po ang programang sadyang inhandog ng UP-NISMED.
To further its extension services, NISMED regularly conducts stargazing activities to accommodate school requests. It regularly opens its laboratories, providing opportunities for students to learn science and mathematics concepts and practice their applications. To conduct more effective programs and activities, NISMED partners with both local and international organizations. Committed to excellence, NISMED programs have continuously been achieving awards and recognitions. Since its establishment in 1964, NISMED continues its journey of commitment and service to lead the nation in science and mathematics education.
Today, we are witnessing the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn.
Teaching science and mathematics through storytelling.
Teacher time out. Feeling the mental health impact of the pandemic.
Building water rockets. A narrative from the Tubata.
This is Tubatahari Natural Park.
Science and mathematics as toys. Second part, which is pick up and ready to stick at the same time, letting them fall.
I'm Sarah Jane Gamboa Paldeng. I'm 30 years old and I am a general operator. So pumasok ako ng 2013. Ako talaga kaya ako nagtatrabaho is for my family. Hindi lang to sa mga bata or sa amin talagang family namin, kundi para din kina mama since ano na lang sila, umaasa na lang sila sa pensyon at hindi naman kaya kasi nga nagtaas ang yung bad side is syempre mas nahirapan kami sa pamamalengke kasi yung pagkain mas nagmahal after the pandemic. Parang talagang nakaka-pressure na kailangan masustentuhan namin lalo na't mas marami sila sa bahay, mas marami kumakain. Sa to lang, yung mga trabahong talagang pang-bruce ko, marami dito sa Nestle, dito sa loob ng factory. Ay, yung mga pagbubuhat, yung mga pagbabaklas ng makina, panglalaki talaga siya kung tutuusin mo eh. Pero hindi naman kami pinababayaan ni Nestle. Yung talagang, kailangan mo lang talaga ibigay yung lakas mo as sa babae. Mas na lumakas yung loob namin or mas nagbigay sa amin ng confidence na ay kaya namin magbigay ng suggestion. Kaya may voice kami pwede gamitin para makatulong sa team. Mas na-encourage kaming pumasok dun sa mga leadership na role. Ay, wala, mag-volunteer tayo. Ayan, si Miss Man. Yan yung talagang sinusubukan nating sa mga kababaihan dito sa loob. Kasi kaya naman talaga namin eh.
I have a lot of dreams. I want to become a doctor, I want to become a nurse, a nun actually. But what I wanted is to really help my mom and my family. So what I did is I took business management because I believe that management is a flexible course. And I ended up here in the hospitality industry. Kumbaga, mas napaprioritize yung mga lalaki in terms of other higher positions, or sometimes yung opportunities are really given to men because sometimes they think women are weak or women are hindi masyadong proactive, tahimik lang, reserved.
This team is encountering delays in their daily work tasks. Mona has a feeling that the delays are due to
With the training that ILO provided, it really upgraded my skill. Nagagamit ko talaga yung soft skills training ng ILO to my day-to-day tasks and activities sa properties. I want to grow and grow and grow pa with the company. So with that training will help me.
Parang yearly na lang na January to March.
About a year after joining Microtel, I have this dream. There's a photo in Microtel na naka-display doon. These are the photos of the leaders. It was taken in the first Microtel. Sabi ko noon, parang my dream is to be part of that photo and become part of the management team. And now I'm included in the photo.
In the Philippines, women in the STEM sector often hold low-skilled positions. As a consequence, women are 2.3 times more likely to lose their jobs to automation than their male counterparts. In addition, they also face more challenges in the workplace, such as gender inequality, limited progress in their roles, and job insecurity.
Positions occupied by the women are often laborious, leaving them with little time for training and skills building.
In order to continue improving female workers' skills during the pandemic, the International Labour Organization adapted their in-business training to be entirely online. To make this happen, the ILO partnered with the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, ECOP, and together they launched the online training program with Nestlé in early 2021.
The soft skills training equips our employees, teams, and leaders themselves to be able to maintain a certain level of engagement and connection despite the pandemic.
True or false, the first step of critical thinking is to analyze the information that you have. Is this true or false?
The training covers creative thinking, reaching a consensus, problem solving, working in a team, critical thinking, leadership, and time management. Improving these soft skills empowers women and ensures them more opportunities both in the workplace and in their personal lives.
Yung natutunan namin po dun sa training is yun nga, na pakikipag-interact po sa visor, na magbe-benefit po sa parehas na side, yung magkakaroon po ng advantage sa akin and advantage din po sa supervisor.
So yung train na to, maganda siya kasi it prepared me for bigger challenges, bigger role na pwede ibigay sa akin, na pwede ko siyang gamitin, hindi lang siguro sa trabaho, pati sa personal na buhay.
Sobrang gumanda yung trabaho ko dahil nga through communication, through teamwork dun sa mas nagamit ko siya kahit na same ang position ko. Nagkaroon ako ng volunteerism work.
Pero ang kagandahan kasi nung training ng soft skills is mas na-engage yung mga kababaihan natin na mag-engage dun sa problem solving. Kasi syempre pag problem o mga dismantling na ng makina, normally mga lalaki na yung kasama. Though kasama din naman kami, pero mas nagbigay sa amin ng confidence na kaya namin magbigay ng suggestion. Kaya may voice kami pwede gamitin para makatulong sa team. Okay, wala, mag-volunteer tayo.
Over 300 women at Nestlé have already benefited from the program.
This soft skills training has improved capabilities of our women employees. It has improved their confidence and added character.
Everyone wants to reach their full potential, and the in-business soft skills trainings help people do just that. Even during a pandemic, we are building a better world for work.
Hindi. May nag-unmute sa inyo.
Every day, our students wake up being told of a world of global opportunities. They are told not to worry, that digital technology can only bring them closer to their hopes and dreams. So the computers, tablets and mobiles poured in. And then books just became e-books. But their dreams still didn't come true. We keep telling our children to strive for the best, to always be a winner in life. But what if we are not giving them what they need to get there? That's what we realized at IDEA. It's about the entire journey and not just the first step. Others aggregate. We create. Creating dreams means creating realities. So we created it all, from content to platform to assessments and detailed data analytics. We have partnered with not-for-profit organizations, schools, and governments. Our active users are growing every week. 7 out of 10 users of IDEA preferred us to our leading competitors. And we scored 95% for user satisfaction. A study even showed that people were 4 times more likely to complete their learning goals when using IDEA. So we dive into the future with interactive virtual reality, artificial intelligence to personalize learning, automated assessments, and global multi-language support. IDEA is leading the way in interactive, data-driven, full-solution education. We may have started small, but we did what our users do best. We learnt. We work together with students, parents, teachers, and governments to better prepare our users to take on the world. Because if we go global, so do they. IDEA, harnessing the power of digital to transform education.
Gusto namin po kayong pasalamatan sapagkat patuloy po ang inyong pagsama sa amin sa Go Teacher Go.
One of the goals of mathematics teaching is to give opportunities for students to experience transformations.
Simulation na to ay ina-allow yung learner para explore yung isang fragment ng DNA molecule.
May tuturing na cross-cutting concept o theme ang food security sa pagtuturo sapagkat kaya nitong tupugin o pagtagdi-tagdiin ang iba't ibang konseptong pag-agham at maging ang mga konseptong sakop ng iba pang mga disiplina.
Ako parehas sa'yo, classmate Reds. Yung akong binasa Jessie nga rin eh. Sino ba kasi itong si Jessie or si Jessie na ito?
Sa Jessie, kinikilala nito ang mga excluded group na magkaroon ng pantay na oportunidad para mas makilala nila ang kanilang kakayahan at kagalingan.
The best way talaga to teach SPS, the science process skills, is to teach it in the context of inquiry-based lesson.
Para alagaan tayo ni Mother Earth, kailangan alagaan din siya. At sa pag-aalaga kay Mother Earth, parang sa GTG lang, kasali ka.
Pag binuksan na natin ang carbonated drinks, ano yung madalas na nangyayari, classmate Raz?
Kapag binubuksan siya, may bubbles. Tapos, naririnig natin yung fizz. Yung, alam yung Tama ba?
Tama. Buksan natin to.
Ayun.
Yun, may narinig ko akong fizz.
Ayan.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka. Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka. Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Maraming salamat. Kami po ay natutuwa na makausap kayo, na makapagbahagi sa inyo. Ito po ang Go Teacher Go, kaagapay ng makabagong guro.
third panel discussion on community-based, demand-driven integration of STEM in TVET. Once again, you may scan the QR code flash on the screen or the code printed in the program that you received upon registration. The QR code will lead you to a Google form where you may type in your questions addressed to the corresponding speakers. We also invite our online participants to ask questions or give their comments by typing them on the YouTube and Facebook comments section. Let me now introduce our STEAM panel discussants. Our first panel discussant is Dr. Elmer Irene, the Director for International Affairs of Samar State University in Catbalogan City, Samar, Philippines. Holding the rank of Associate Professor, he teaches various courses in the College of Education and in the Graduate School of the said university. And he has published researches in reputable journals in several fields. Outside the academy, he is an associate member of the National Research Council of the Philippines, Division I, Governmental, Educational, and International Policies, a member of the Biodiversity Conservation Society of the Philippines, and Philippine Association of Chemistry Teachers. Our second panel discussant is Dr. Evelyn Vedasto, a professor at the Plant Science Department, College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Environmental Sciences at the Aklan State University. She is also a Training and Assessment Center Manager at the same university. Throughout her career, she has been involved in different research projects, and she has authored and co-authored several published works in the fields of agriculture, forestry, and environmental sciences. Our third panel discussant is Ms. Agnes Panem, who is the Chief TESD Specialist under the Curriculum and Training Aids Development Division, National Institute for TESD. Ms. Agnes Panem is a registered electrical engineer and active member of the IIEE. She has been in the government service for 32 years, since 1991. Currently, she leads the TESDA curriculum team in designing, developing, and conducting capability building programs for TVET trainers and personnel on curriculum and training materials development, evaluation, and validation. May I now call the three panel discussants to please come up on stage. And also the moderator of this session, our director, Dr. Sherilyn C. Monterola, please come up on stage.
Magandang umaga po sa ating mga panelists, kay Dr. Vedasto, Dr. Irene, at of course kay Ma'am Agnes. Ako po kasi ay kilala ko na po yung ating mga panelists, no? At narinig niyo naman yung kanilang profile, pero siguro po, just to contextualize, no, or to put into context what this panel is all about and how are they related to our current topic, which is STEM in TVET. So I will ask the panelists po for a few minutes po to talk about what were your programs or initiatives in line with the STEM in TVET, just to also inform our audience po regarding your participation. Thank you po. Dr. Irene, would you like to start?
Maupay nga aga. Hello, maupay. Maupay nga aga. Sa mga taga-Region 8, sa mga kasama kong mga waray-waray dyan. Well, first of all, it feels nostalgic being here after, I think, 19 years. Kasi recipient din po ako ng Intel Teach. Ito po yung training ground namin at yung mga nag-attend ng training dito sa NISMED. What I can say is you're in good hands with NISMED. So it's nice to be back. I'm happy to share the contribution of our university in the STEM integration sa banig industry at Basay, Samar. Well, to give a glimpse of the background of the project, we have one campus located at Basay, ang Samar State University, and we are one of the key stakeholders in the TESDA ILO-funded project, which focused on buri and dikog industry at Basay. Well, banig is the local dialect for the math product. made from tikog or berry stalks. And that they are proud, the people there are proud that they are considered to be the banig capital of the Philippines. So they are claiming that. Ngayon, ang naging contribution namin, being one of the stakeholders, kasama din si Dolly, si DTI, ay yung sa product development. Well, so PhilFIDA, sa planning, there are many competencies actually sa banig processing. So what I can say is that we assist them in crafting the TRs, especially sa product standardization and other STEM. I think that's the first thing I can say right now.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Irene, for that. No? So, para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, very particular na community-based TVET program yung kanila pong dinevelop because TESDA already has this drive to actually encourage more training regulations to be developed. But the community-based, area demand-driven, no? Area-based demand-driven at TVET. So, this time naman po, bago kay Ma'am Agnes, kasi si Ma'am Agnes po ay from Central Office, so, sa CITAD. So, punta naman po muna tayo kay Dr. Vedasto from, Aklan State U.
Okay, thank you po, ma'am. Well, good morning, everyone. Mayad-ayad nga agahon kinyo tanan. So, ako si Ma'am Evelyn Vedasto from Aklan State University. Now, our university has the 4 quadruple function. That is from instruction, research, extension, and production. Okay? So, it is well understood that in the university, we do have several functions. And with the integration of what we call STEM and TVET, where I was one of the founder, where our school invited or included TVET in the university because the previous author was already retired, so ako na yung nabilin to develop the additional qualification that we have in TVET. So actually, we do have 4 OTPRES program plus 5 assessment center and an addition of the latest one where we develop the CS, and that is on ABACA, classification, and grading level 2, which was just approved this December, wherein that is already downloadable in the TESDA training regulation. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you to our sponsor, Ma'am Lights, and then of course with Ma'am Monterola.
Maraming po salamat. So basically po si Doc Elmer ay yung sa kanila po ay yung sa banig industry, no? At yung kay Doc Evelyn naman po ay ABACA classification, ABACA grading. So para lang po matandaan natin. Now, punta naman po tayo sa Central Office, Ma'am Agnes.
Hello, good morning. In the Central Office, for 2 decades now, we've been doing the competency-based training ng TESDA. So what we do there is we develop a lot of training regulations, competency standards, and corresponding curriculum exemplars. So under the STEM and TVET, it really helped us a lot to really organize our thoughts on how TVET should be, how TVET training should be. It organized our perception on what is STEM. Kasi initially, we had different concepts, no? So a lot of people have different concept of STEM in TVET. But now with the help of Dr. Monterola and Ma'am Lights, we're able to put in order the things that we have to learn about STEM and TVET. The 4 pillars that earlier was presented by Doc Cheryl. So it really helped us a lot. And with those things going on in the field, like the BANIG development and the ABACA as an area-based demand-driven TVET that we call, we will support the development of those competencies actually under the area-based demand-driven or ABDD development program of TESDA. What we do is we handhold the actual development we developed the work processes, and we assisted those in the field, the trainers, the schools. So that one we offer to our institutions so that we'll be able to pursue the area-based, demand-driven in TVET for all the regional areas of the Philippines. So with that, we hope that we could continue the process. We can develop that and kumbaga maalagaan natin yung proseso and everyone will be able to implement them. That's all.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Agnes. Ma'am Agnes mentioned about at first that they are having a difficult time or to be on the same page in terms of understanding what STEM is in Tibet is. Did you have the same problem po, Doc Elmer, at that time? When, let's say, because you were coming from a higher education institution, so state university, but they were asked to develop a training regulation, no, for TVET. So, and saying that it's under the STEM in Tibet. So, what was your first reaction po? How did you take it?
Okay, we participated in the consultative meeting and dialogues with them. But one thing which I have observed was we always involve the weavers, those who are really into this industry. And that what I can say is there was this participatory ideas coming from them. Experts were invited, those who are really into the industry. And when we crafted the competencies, actually, if Dr. Isaac was there and other from ILO, and that they really ask, what are those competencies? So what they have been doing for so long a time. And so that's what we did, actually. We did not introduce, we simply emphasized, because for me, STEM is already present in there. In the process, in the banig processing, STEM, as what Dr. Chair mentioned a while ago, that STEM enabled na po. So what we did, we simply parang ina-align lang namin. And so we put it in there. Ang nagsasuggest ng competencies, yung talagang mga experts ng banig processing. And for example, I remember they have shared, one expert shared about the use of, I forget the dialect, parang satum, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a rice wash that they use after dyeing the stalks. So sinisok nila yung stalks doon sa rice wash. And that when I asked them what's the purpose of soaking it to that satum, and they said that it preserves, it enhances the color, and it preserves, parang may pagka-preservative. Sabi ko, ma'am, kung gumagamit kayo or do you use other alternative aside from the rice wash? Sabi nila, nag-try sila ng ganito, ng ganyan. So I keep on asking them. It's like, for me, in my mind, they're already doing the innovation. However, sa numeracy na level, when I ask, magkano ba yung ratio or how much rice powder do you use with the ratio of the volume of the water, parang yung iba, gumagamit lang sila, naglalagay sila, nagsusok sila doon, but not counting, not really standardizing the process. So that's how we came in. So the STEAM process already there. All we have to do is to emphasize and to articulate. Hindi naman po kami masyadong nahirapan because we involved them.
Thank you very much po, Doc Elmer, for that. No? So, dun parang na-sense nyo na, okay, walang standard. Kasi yung ratio and proportion, hindi siya definite. So, parang every time it can change. So, depending on the person who's actually doing the process. So, thank you very much. So, babalikan ko po kayo in a little while. How about you, ma'am, Doc Evelyn? When it comes to abaka grading naman po, paano kayo parang pumasok na nung sinasabi na STEM in TVET, and then coming from agriculture, galing po kayo sa State U?
Okay, thank you po. Ito yung scenario ng aming bagong implementation ng TVET. Actually, in my part, it's really difficult to have a paradigm shift coming from, of course, in the upper echelon where your function is really different, going down to the level, especially of our respondents, which are the indigenous people. And with the integration of science, in the formulation of the competency standards, where I believe that it's really difficult to convince our clientele or our participants because of their what? Because of their knowledge. Kasi nga, andun sila sa bundok. But it's really a big challenge in our part. Actually, on the first place, nagkaroon kami ng meeting with the local government unit where abaca plantation is very, first already the source of living of the common people in Aklan, and that is in Libacao, Aklan. And the place where we really trained our respondents is really very far. It is not just only 2 hours away, but before we go there, we have traversed or the one river, parang dinaanan namin, tapos lumakad din kami, babalik, parang na-dry lang yung aming underwear. Dati pa, nung yung first na pag-visit ko doon sa area. Now, this is really very true because my dissertation is tissue culture on abaca. That is why, with the invitation given to me by TESDA, I do not hesitate, really, to accept the challenge. So I really go downstream. No with Ma'am Lights. It's really difficult. And in the cropping of the competency standard, marami kaming experience. Ang dami naming discussion. Sabi ni Ma'am Lights, uy, where is science there? Where is, ano ba yun? Technology. So, sige, revise. But in the crafting of this competency standard, I really do not believe that one head is enough. But with a contribution of everything that is coming from TESDA, from PhilFIDA, which are really the implementer in the field, and of course, the university, where I believe that we do have the technical expertise, and of course, our funding agency, the ILO, the internals. Thank you po, ma'am. And that is our experience on how to develop REC. But I will challenge everybody. Now, the identification of the skills that we have was based on the recommendation of the farmers, wherein they believe that they have the knowledge, but they don't know how to explain it. Hindi nila alam kung saan galing yung fiber and how to produce a quality fiber. That is where we really establish the competency standard, which is, I believe, that is a community-based driven need of our clientele. So, we are hoping that this CS that we have, and just yesterday, I let my staff not to pass the application for the program po, ma'am. Because I was being mandated, not really mandated, but every meeting sabi ni Arde, saan na yung abaka mo? Pag meeting ulit, sabi ni PO, ma'am, saan na yung abaka mo? Yun, ngayon. Sabi ko, nag-text ako kahapon, sabi, sir, nandyan na yung book, please, correction is under your care. So po, yun doon, sa basic competency, nandoon na yung 21st century with the common competency and the core competency where we embed the science, technology, then engineering, and mathematics. So, do I need to proceed? Kasi ganito.
Actually, may follow-up question nga po ako about that. Because you were saying that they already have like the knowledge about it, but they can't actually explain it. But so your role was to actually to translate it into a competency standard kasi that's the document that you need. Now, when you were trying to explain po, this is the competency, parang how were you able to clearly communicate it to them?
Well, that is since I am also an aklanon, so I go down to their level and explain the papers, especially from yung question na kung ano yung alam nila. I really translate it with Ma'am Lights. That is why I was invited to speak in front of you now. That is my best experience. Yes, yan. So, in our core competency, in the ABACA classification and grading level 2, we have 3 core competency. One is perform harvesting. The other one, the next core competency is sorting. And the last competency now is perform classifying and grading. So those are the only 3 competency which I believe people in the upland can really perform, and they can produce quality fiber rather than before. Kasi dati, basta lang gawin nila yung fiber. Ibinta doon sa mga businessman. Kumbaga, they exchange it with sardines kasi happy sila doon sa sardinas, sa 555. Without thinking na meron palang pira yung alin, yung ABACA. So I believe that with the CS that we made, they can understand which is a quality fiber basing on the competencies that we have formulated together with different industry. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, ma'am. No? So, you see, yung sinasabi po ni Doc Evelyn, because if, for example, if they're not very familiar with the grading and sorting, so chances are what they're producing is just low quality, and so they will just get, just a few amount lang for the hard work that they did. But if they're knowledgeable in terms of grading and classification, which actually was directed, or they were guided by Doc Evelyn, so they were able to produce better quality ABACA, and so they had the chance to earn more.
Yes.
Yun po yung nangyari.
Kasi before, yung nakakuha ng maraming pira is, alam nyo kung sino? The middleman. And not the farmer itself. Where our farmer is really kawawa sila. Na sila yung maraming hirap. Yan ang being an agriculturist. I love really telling the soil.
Thank you very much po, ma'am. Ayan po. May pupuntahan ko naman po si si Ma'am Agnes, kasi we were talking about translation, ma'am, di ba? Kasi we were working together before, and then it's your turn na po to actually cascade it. Now, how you parang, in terms of translating it to other parang stakeholders of TESDA, parang, how was your experience po?
In terms of translating, yung importance ng STEM kasi nakikita namin yan, especially dun sa mga pag-perform ng skills. Like what Ma'am said here na tungkol dun sa IPs, we know that they are yung parang medyo lower level na worker, but still, when we injected the STEM, nakita natin yung value or yung implication dun sa performance ng skill. So that's what we're telling sa ating mga trainers na if we were able to improve our competencies, yung content noon, through analyzing, critically analyzing the STEM, composition of that competency, we can really improve the way they perform in the workplace or sa case nila dun sa field, no? Like, sabi nga nila before, they used to just gather yung mga fibers. They don't know about anything na quality. But if they were able to inject the STEM, how much is the quality of that or the grading of the fibers, no? For sure, nakita yan doon sa analysis ng STEM competencies. So when we say STEM competencies, yung STEM knowledge, yung STEM thinking skills niya, yung kanyang numeracy, na-apply nila lahat doon sa pag-perform ng skills, kaya nag-improve yung quality. So what we are saying now is our trainers is our best propagators of STEM. They just have to be diligent in developing the papers or the documents or the competency or the curriculum. Kasi later on, it will flows down sa ating field. Sila yung magbe-benefits dun sa sinulat nating mga CBCs, mga session plans. So ganun lang, we just have to be committed in identifying talaga yung STEM content. Kasi, or else, sabi nga natin, yung lower level na workers, before they said na routinary yung work. Parang they just do things routinarily, parang hindi nag-iisip. But now, people have to change, they have to think. Even though yung maliit lang yung skills nila or at the lower level, they have to really think na kahit they do routinary works like yung sa paghahabi, di ba, routinary yun. But still, they were thinking na eto na yung magandang fiber. Nakikita nila, na-identify nila because they were already thinking and they were already, kumbaga, aware of the STEM. Kaya doon namin nakikita yung value nun. So, sa development, andun yung capability building, although minsan medyo, on our part, they said na medyo strict kami, pero we really have to do it kasi or else they won't do it sa field na o kaya sa trainers. So, ang trainers naman namin, nakikita namin yung commitment nila, but we hope that they could multiply more para yung ating ibang trainers, lalo na sa mga private, they would appreciate how STEM works and how STEMs are being developed sa mga developmental documents natin, sa mga CBCs, para marami tayo lahat na makakapagtulong-tulong to improve yung quality of performance ng mga workers natin sa workplace. Ayun lang.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Agnes. What about Doc Almer? Doon po naman sa inyong, kasi you were talking about standardization, yung ratio proportion. Paano niyo po yun na-translate doon sa competency standards na? Kasi alam po nila yung process, pero kayo po yung parang you were there to help them craft the competency standards.
Thank you, Doc Chair. Just like you po, STEM advocate din po ako being into that field. But aside from that, ang pinupursu po namin sa academy yung lifelong learning. We are dealing with adult learners po, no? So we really inspire them to keep growing, to not stop. Kung ang mga sa kanilang organization, actually federation yung namin, kapartner. So they have a lot of associations and they came up with a federation. Ang maganda dun sa kanila, parang meron silang sort of hierarchy, parang organizational structure nila. That among them, sila yung nag-check, no? Like they have experts, parang master, mga beginner. Yung mga experts, sila yung nag-guide. At tapos parang nag-aim sila na, let's not produce low-quality products. Kasi nakasalala yung reputation, nakasalala yung market. Pagka nagpo-produce sila ng mga low quality, you know what, sa context doon sa lugar namin, sa Basay, may iba pang mga weavers. Aside from yung galing doon sa Basay, mayroong from other places. Tapos meron silang parang international market na ang branding doon is Lara. So, like kanina sa sharing ni Sir Alfie, yung competitiveness ba, yung global competitiveness, dapat nabubuhay, nagra-rise among them. So they are not competing with an international market. And that's why those who are members of that association or that federation, yung mga experts, kina-quality check nila yung mga products nila. And with the STEM integration, hindi ka makakaligtas doon, nandun yung measure nandun yung quality. So, yun nga, it's really, for me, well, hindi naman sa mahirap, kundi not that difficult to translate. They are doing that, we simply guide them. And maganda doon is sila mismo. And that's really the very essence of a lifelong learning. And that's really, we are proud of to be part.
Maraming salamat po, Doc Elmer. At this point po, I'd like to invite the audience. So if you have any questions po regarding our panel members and how they did it in the community. Some questions po. Kung wala po, ako muna uli magtatanong. So, sir, kasi you were able to complete that project already. There's a TR that you were able to submit and for accreditation na po, ano. Now, in terms of venturing into other, because you already had a taste of how to actually develop competency standards and then TRs, which are actually a convergence of STEM and TVET. So are there other opportunities po to continue the work but it's not really, or venture into another TR? Meron pa po ba? Siguro pa mauna si Doc Evelyn.
For me po, yung nasa isip ko lang po is to really appreciate the TR that we have. So I would like, I think if this is a recommendation that in Aklan per se, no, di ba marami dong extension worker? So, I think, once na-approve na yung aming in-apply na program, so I believe that the first participants that we want to involve in the community are the extension worker from the different municipalities of Aklan where Abaca is thriving, so that there will be an agent to train the natives in their own area. I don't know if that would be, ma'am. True? Yes.
Yes po, ma'am. Parang sort of a scaling up model. No? Once it's there, that the TR is there, so you already have identified that there are actually, in fact, clienteles. And so, it's a matter of really reaching out to the clienteles. Maraming po
Kasi
salamat.
hindi namin yun makaya kung kami lang. Di ba? So, and we do only have, I think, 3 trainers from the start. Kasi meron kaming qualification na nilagay doon as a trainer. And with the participation, I think, of the industry, the PhilFIDA. So,
Ma'am, just curious, ano po yung qualifications ng trainers na yon, and how would it be like difficult to develop other trainers who can actually be your pool of experts? Apo.
dapat yung trainers doon is, they have knowledge on how they adapt, no? Of course, the embedment of the STEM that what we have, that is, we will be planning to integrate that during the training on our satellite, as in, ano ba yun, yung first na training. So, para, we have to, ano ba yun, reject, no? The knowledge and skills or practices to our target clientele.
So far, ma'am, 3 pa lang po ngayon, but it's in the cards that you're going to actually have more trainers po. So like, in the next few months or years po, or let's say next year, will there be a possibility of, let's say, opening a training and having more experts?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it will be led by Aklan State
Yes,
po?
ma'am. We are being tasked to lead the program or the implementation of the program.
Together with PhilFIDA?
With PhilFIDA as our trainer.
Apo, PhilFIDA po is the Philippine Fiber Development Authority.
Yes,
Apo, PhilFIDA.
They are our partners in the crafting of the competency standard.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Evelyn. What about Doc Elmer? Meron na po bang parang, are you going to venture into another TR? Or kasi I know, is there a limitation po ba from the side of Samar State U? Unlike Aklan State U?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the sustainability, and right now we have the TRs and it's with TESDA right now. I think ito yung unang TRs for the banig weaving. And DepEd is now implementing this sa senior high nila. Kami naman sa Basay campus namin, it's being poised as community college, meaning addressing the demands of the community, which is we are accepting any learner. For example, we'll be offering short courses for Banig and we'll be using the TRs. So other stakeholders are also doing that. Pero this is one thing na sinasabi namin palagi kasi medyo mga kaibigan at sa matagal na panahon nagkakasama na kami, sabi ko, please don't stop improving your product. Sa ngayon parang may ina-introduce kaming kahit simpleng profiling lang. In-introduce namin parang mga improvements sa kanilang association. Sabi ko, sa bawat membro ninyo, i-profile nyo kagad. Tingnan nyo kung saan level siya at kung anong mga trainings na kakailanganin niya. So, simple profiling sila na yung gumagawa po, ma'am, sa kanilang association. And actually, we gather the data from them. Sila yung the data came from them. So, yun nga, profiling, training needs, and yung research, unti-unti na nilang sinisimulan. Of course, we are still there, PhilFIDA is there. Ang product authentication na pre-namis ng university namin sa kanila, is now in progress. And yung dyeing, kasi nga nag-introduce na rin kami ng mga innovation ng ano ba yung mas na-optimize yung color. Is it the temperature? Is it the dye itself? So madami kaming mga prenamis. Kasi katatapos pa lang ng project last year. So it's still a work in progress, but we are still into that. Ang masasabi ko lang kaming mga stakeholders ay nandyan. For as long that we are there, I think they are good. They will flourish. So wag tayong bumitaw. Kapit lang.
Thank you very much po, Doc Elmer. I just want to emphasize that because probably you're noticing that the three of us po are coming from a higher education institution, a tertiary level. But we can see now that how we really can actually synergize our work, how we can actually work together. Kasi parang before, pag inisip mo na TEI, pag inisip mo na university or college, parang ano siya, completely divorced from TVET, or from the TVI at Technical Vocational Education Institutions. Pero makikita natin ngayon, there's complementarity, Hindi, kumbaga, parang yung kagaya yung research na skills ng nasa higher education institutions, nagagamit natin, yung skills din namin na we're well-versed in terms of curriculum development, yung tinatawag na mga competency standards, mga mapping. So yun naman yung kaya namin i-translate yung mga, let's say, skills or practical into something that's, let's say, needed in the document. So I just want to just emphasize that for the appreciation of everyone na nakita natin na kaya po nating mag-work together. Yung kasi, kumbaga parang lagi natin isip basic ed, TVET, and then meron ka nung CHED na yung higher ed. Pero makita natin ngayon yung mga synergies po at pwede talaga tayo mag-work together. Ayan po. Now, kay Ma'am Agnes naman po, kasi sila Ma'am Agnes sa central office, tapos they're in charge nga, sabi nga natin, sa trainer's methodology. Ma'am, kumusta po ngayon yung pagkakascade po natin doon sa STEM in TVET? Paano po natin siya, kumbaga, ini-institutionalize within CITAD and within, of course, TESDA?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Actually, we are very fortunate with this opportunity that was given to us by System and ILO when we first attended the 2020 training on STEM in TVET. We were able to immortalize that program. Immortalize, by coming up with a manual. Actually, talagang the content was very important to us. Kaya ginawa namin siya ng manual. And then that manual is translated into a training program, capability building program. And only last year, we were able to deploy it to NTTA kasi we really have to test muna yung laman ng manual and how we were able to explain it to our regions. So now it has been devolved sa NTTA to really conduct a lot of training on that. So sa aming part, it's very important na meron kaming yung pinanghawakan namin na manual na talagang nakakatulong sa ating mga trainers na para hindi makalimutan yung natutunan din namin sa training program. So, ang aming way forward dito is to continuously improve that manual. Maaring may mga skills pa, STEM skills that we really have to improve or to acquire, lalo na yung sa something sa multiliteracy at saka dun sa socio-emotional skills. Kinakailangan pa natin i-develop yun kasi yun yung mga things na mga values or skills na kailangan ng ating mga learners later on na ma-acquire din nila sa atin because we cannot teach what we do not have. So really have to get it, those kinds of STEM literacies and skills. So ayun po. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Agnes. So, yung term ni Ma'am, no, immortalize. So, kita natin, it's very important that when you did, parang when you're done with pilot testing, you have your proof of concept, you have your document, but the document that's actually usable, no, to those who are in the field. Kasi nga, possible na high level yung document mo or hindi siya na-translate doon sa level that they are being understood by those who will use it, di ba? So, it's very important that that synergy po, ano, we work closely with si Tad and nakita natin na meron din po kasing structure that you have to somehow cross over. Kasi coming from the curriculum side, meron ka ng training side. So sa kanila po, they cross over dun sa entity. So parang, I was just trying to explain po yung pakita natin na parang within an institution din or within an organization din po, yung tinatawag din natin na crossing over, yung hand-holding. So you have the trainings, you have the manual, but you have to transfer it also to entity A, and then yung receptiveness naman ng entity A to actually cascade it to those who are in the field. So I know that mix po yung audience natin. Meron tayong from TESDA at meron tayong from DepEd. So later on po yung mga parang similarities sa structures or sa processes, sana po ay ma-appreciate natin. Ayan po. Baka po meron pa tayong mga questions. We still have 10 minutes po before we wrap up our panel. Yes po. Kindly go ahead. Ma'am, Doc Bacara. Opo.
Thank you. More than question, I think I want to share something. Way back in 2010, I was invited in China kasi meron akong agricultural program, meron akong project. At natutuwa ako sa nangyayari ngayon na koneksyon ng TESDA, ng UP at ng mga state universities natin, tsaka yung mga farmers. Bakit? Kasi doon ako na-amaze sa kanila. Ang role ng university, yung higher education, is to do research and development. So, ibig sabihin, dun pa lang, nagka-classify na sila ng mga agricultural materials or plants kung ano yung i-develop. Ibig sabihin, ito pang halaman na to ay for industrial products. Ito bang halaman na ito ay para sa pagkain? At iba't iba pang mga aspeto. Ang university ang nag-identify kung ano yung kanilang aaralin. Nakakonekta yon sa kanilang development plan. Kasi yung napunta sa akin, meron akong ginagawang pag-aaral nun tungkol sa tangan-tangan. If you're familiar with castor seeds. Oo, kasi yung palang castor seeds, ginagamit yan para doon sa paggawa ng cosmetics, yung oil niya, at kung ano-ano pa. So nagtataka ako nung pinasyal nila ako doon sa kanilang taniman, alam ko tumutubo to sa Pilipinas eh. Tumutubo lang basta yan, kung saan-saan. So I invited yung grupo dito sa Pilipinas and they were shocked kasi along the highway, biglang pumara yung incheck. Sabi niya, oh my God, this is gold. See? So nakita niya na ang dami-dami nating resources dito sa kanila, sobrang importante yun. So nakita ko yung importansya talaga ng university. Kasi kayo, yung magdadala ng R&D. Pagkatapos nun, itatranslate nyo naman yan kung paano siyang may-utilize ng, para further development. Halimbawa, ang TESDA ay maituro din kung paano itatanim ang isang halaman hanggang ma-process. Papasok din yung iba pang agencies of government like DOST, ang DTI. In other words, convergence in action. Yun yung nakikita kong nagkukos ng national development nila kasi seryoso, maayos, planado ang kanilang pag-aaral patungkol sa mga halaman na to. I'm speaking sa agriculture, hindi pa ako nag-uusap ng iba pang aspeto, no? Kasi medyo malalim din yung ginawa kong pag-aaral doon nung nandun ako. Gusto ko lang sabihin sa inyo na natutuwa ako ngayon sa nangyayari, Doc She, no? Kasi mukhang sa tagal ng panahon, kahit na late, talagang merong nabubuong synergy. May nangyayari dito sa atin at may pag-asa ang bayan kung ganyan ang mangyayari. Kailangan lang natin talaga yung bang more engagement sa development ng products. Hindi lang raw mats. Sayang ang raw mats eh. So, hindi imposible because we have the brightest sa university. We have the best farmers na very innovative din yan. Dahil I also work with the farmers kasi agricultural din ako, school ng TESDA. So I think we have to do more of this. The university has to be funded also, for further R&D. And also, I think the government, the agencies of the government also has to fund such program and come up with a comprehensive program. Come up with a plan. Even yung pag-define, na-mention din yung tungkol sa human resource kanina, ano pang klaseng human resource ang gusto nating i-develop sa lugar na to? Are they good in agriculture? What aspect of agriculture? Are they good in fishery? What aspect? Are they good in processing? Dapat nakapasok pa rin yun doon. Let us identify anong expertise, anong klaseng human resource ang gusto nating i-develop per area. Integrated ang lahat ng bagay. Yun lang, Doc Shea. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Doc Macara. Opo. So ito po sabi ni Doc Macara kanina, there's actually a lot of opportunities for higher education institutions because of their background in research and development to work with TVIs po, no? Especially in developing more training regulations. Parang maraming pwede po kasing, parang marami pang skills and programs na kailangan ma-develop. Kailangan mag-catch up yung bilis, the rate by which we are able to develop the TRs that will give the certification. Kasi otherwise po, yun yung sinasabi natin, parang widow lang lahat yung skills, no? Parang kapa-kapa, hindi yung, pero nakita natin na hindi pwede lagi na parang you just try to estimate, you don't have a standard or you don't have a metric. So, sometimes magsasuffer yung quality ng output and of course that translates to earning less, no? Ayan po. So, maraming salamat po ulit, Doc Macara. Ngayon naman po, Lights, you have a question.
Yeah, kanina sabi mo nga, we have DepEd and TESDA teachers here, no? For our university speakers here who went through that process from university to TVET, what would you advise now our DepEd teachers? Kasi some of them are in science, some of them are in TVL, but most of them are in science and in math. I noticed in some workshops. What would you advise them in terms of engaging their students? Given what you have learned, no? Kasi kayo, for TESDA kasi very defined. You translate every competency, every skill, every competency, even the learning activity. But what would you advise Doc Irene and Doc Vedasto? I call her Doc V. Paano nila, pag bumalik sila sa schools nila, what would you advise them to do better this time, coming from what you've learned in your experiences in Buri and also in Abaca?
Okay. Well, as of now, with our knowledge on how to formulate this different CS, we have already our clientele, but it is not coming from the DepEd, but it's a private individual. And I am open if you are willing to ask my help. Yun po.
Thank you very much po, Doc Evelyn. What about Doc Elmer po?
Bago po ako naging college instructor, ay high school teacher po ako ng matagal na panahon. So, STEM po ang tinuturo ko. Ang masasabi ko lang sa mga taga-DepEd na andito ngayon ay keep involving your students with research and focus kayo doon sa kung anong meron sa countryside, anong meron sa locality. And out of that, ma-enhance yung kanilang research skills and ma-appreciate pa nila kung anong meron sa inyo. For example, encouraging like doon sa Basay, focus on enhancement of the buri, like a simple planting, kung anong soil ang mas na-adapt ang ganong klaseng stock or yung ganong klaseng research. So, introduce research to your students. Yung mga investigatory project, mga simpleng trial and error method. Yun po. And again, continue supporting TVET, continue the synergy. Yesterday, ilan lang kaming nag-sign doon sa pleads of commitment. Ngayon, when I check, halos maubos na lahat ng Thank you for that. Congratulations to us all. Thank you for the support.
Doc Evelyn, would you like to say something po ba? Do you want to add something before I turn it over to Ma'am Agnes? Yun po, as we try to wrap up our panel, kasi nga po sabi natin, this is the last panel for our STEM in TVET Summit. And as we already learned about different perspectives coming from training providers, coming from our implementers, coming from, of course, ito naman po ang mga developers ng TRs mismo. Just one word po to capture what we want TVET or STEM in TVET to be years from now. One word for you po, from you. You can start.
Sa akin. Commitment.
Commitment. No other words. Very powerful. Ma'am Doc Evelyn?
For me, dedication.
Dedication. Ayan po.
Okay, for me, STEM and TVET is empowerment.
Wow. So empowerment, commitment, dedication. Please remember these 3 words po as we try to work together to synergize so that we will be able to sustain the efforts that we made for integrating STEM in TVET. So maraming salamat po. This ends our panel discussion for this morning. Thank you. Thank you very much po.
Yeah. Thank you very much po sa ating mga discussant. Our moderator, Dr. Sherlyn C. Monterola. As mentioned by Dr. Sher, this is the last panel discussion. And for a 2-day summit, we know that there's a STEM in basic education, there's STEM in higher education, and now we have an understanding there's a new path wherein there is a STEM in TVET. And we've heard a lot of recommendations and best practices which is actually can be converted into policy. And thank you very much. And we want to express our sincerest gratitude to our discussants for sharing their knowledge and insights with us today. They ended it with the preferred future in TVET. And let us now award the certificates of appreciation to our discussants. May I invite also Mr. Melvin Magsayo and Ms. Lights of ILO. Let me read the certificate. This certificate of appreciation is given to Elmer Irene for sharing his time, knowledge, expertise, and insights as panel discussant during the STEM in TVET Summit with the theme Reinforcing Future-Ready TVET through Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, or STEM, held on 25th to 26th of January 2024, given this 26th day of January 2024 in Diliman, Quezon City, Philippines. Signed, Ms. Linartes and Viloria, Dr. Sherlyn C. Monterola, and Mr. Melvin T. Magsayo. The same certificate is awarded to Ms. Dr. Evelyn Vedasto. And the same certificate is awarded to Miss Agnes Panem. Thank you very much, Dr. Monterola, Dr. Elmer, Dr. Evelyn, Miss Agnes, Miss Lights, and Mr. Magsayo, and to our esteemed discussants. Again, we would also like to acknowledge some of our online participants who are tuned in into our live broadcast from their schools. Governor Luis A. Ferrer Jr. East National High School, DepEd Tayo, Blue Rizal Taytay Senior High School, SDO QC, Malingasa High School, and SDO General Trias. And also, we thank all our online participants who have participated in the open forum. There are some questions, but due to time constraint, we were not able to ask that question. But we will forward your questions to our discussants. Thank you for sharing your comments and insights with us via the comment section of Facebook Live and NISMED YouTube. But before we take our lunch break, we have a few announcements and reminders. We will hold parallel workshops again from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. Participants must be at their selected workshop by 1:20 p.m. as each session will begin at 1:30 p.m. Kindly proceed to the workshop that you signed up for yesterday. And again, here are the following workshops. Workshop 1, Harnessing Power of the Digital Economy, Part 2, will be held at the High School Earth Science Lab, same workshop venues for all. Workshop 2, Thinking Beyond Numbers, Numeracy for the Workplace, Part 2 will be held at the High School Building Laboratory. Workshop 3, Making TVET Learner-Centered, Part 2 will be held here at the auditorium. Workshop 4, Inventing an App for TVET will be held at the Information Science Lab. Workshop 5, Learning 3D Printing for TVET, Part 2 will be held at the High School Physics Lab. And finally, Workshop 6, Activating Systems Thinking in Technical Vocational Education and Industrial Technology will be held at the Elementary School Science Lab. Please take note that Workshop 6 will feature a new topic and new resource persons. It is not a continuation of yesterday's workshop on using generative AI for TVET and TVL. Once again, you may access the venue map through the QR code on your printed program. You may also find the workshop locations there. Next, all on-site participants must answer the evaluation form to receive the certificate of participation today. You may access the evaluation form by scanning the QR code that will be posted inside the workshop venues, outside the auditorium, and the ground floor during the afternoon health break. Participants who are done answering the evaluation form can claim their certificates at the registration and secretariat area located on the ground floor. Now, may I invite again everyone for a photo opportunity to document our Day 2 event. To those who are in the lower area, stay still po uli, and then those who are in the mezzanine, kung gusto niyo pong tumayo, mas maganda po para makita kayo. And then, okay, so let's start with my right, so which is your left. On Sir Jerry's prompt. Okay. Ang ating pong tech team pwede daw pong mag-join. Ready? Thank you, Sir Jerry. Dito naman po sa ating gitna. Mas maganda po nakatayo kayo lahat, siguro. Okay lang po ba yan? Okay. Sir Jerry? Okay. Dito po muna. Lastly, to my left, which is your right. Ayan. So yung mga nasa mesa din po, medyo gaganon tayo ng konti. Thank you rin, Sir Anthony, for assisting Sir Jerry. And thank you very much. We'd like to inform our Facebook Live and ISMED TV participants that the broadcast will temporarily end during the lunch break and will resume at 1:20 p.m. To our on-site participants, we may now have our lunch break. And then lunch will be served again on the second floor and third floor. And enjoy your lunch break.